Barcelona Dragons have had a topsy-turvy season this year. They need a win today just to keep their playoff hopes alive. The Rhein Fire needs a win for self-respect and an upward turn. It's a rainy day in Dusseldorf, Germany, where the Barcelona Dragons come calling on the hometown Rhein Fire. Let's take a look at the standings in the World League of American Football. The Scottish Claymores won the first half. They will host the World Bowl. So who are they going to play? Frankfurt 4-2, Barcelona and Amsterdam 3-3. Dragons could do something about it today against the last place team, the 1-5 Rhein Fire. And hello again, everybody. I'm Barry Tompkins, along with the newest member of the Denver Broncos. He is, of course, Toy Cook. Interesting game today, Toy. I think the Dragons can be the masters of their own fate. As to the Rhein Fire, we looked at them on tape, and this is a team close to disarray.
Barry, both of these teams are in a do-or-die situation, but the pressure really is on the Barcelona Dragons. They're 3-0 against the Rhein Fire. They're coming off a 48-14 debacle the week before, and as we all know, you should never lose to the last-place team.
These two teams, of course, played in the first game of the season. Look at this situation. Rhein is driving fairly early in the game, third down and long. Dragons only have 10 men on the field.
Hey, as Jack McNeil said, this was a smart and stupid play, and me being from Stanford, I know that's an oxymoron, but courtesy of Scott's Rady, who he owes a big bottle of champagne to, he picks him up by making his field goal.
Shane Edge, the punter, was the guy that made the mistakes. Zaredi saves the score with a 33-yarder with 4 seconds remaining, and the Dragons win it by 2. As to today's game, it could all come down to the first 30 minutes. The Rhein Fire says they need to get out of the blocks quickly.
Today's game is brought to you by Bud Light, official sponsor of the 1996 Summer Olympic Games. Make it a Bud Light. And by 7-Up, it's an up thing. And by AT&T, official sponsor of the 1996 U.S. Olympic team.
So why...
True choice, AT&T.
Back. Here's where we're coming to you from today. Dusseldorf in the northeast part of Germany. We're at Rheinstadion on a rainy day in Dusseldorf. As night just starts to settle in, the Rhein Fire really feeling that they are a team with something to prove. They were blown away early by the Scottish Claymores, made a run in the second half, and in microcosm, Toy, that's been the story of their season.
Yeah, I think right now what Rhein is looking for is to get out to a quick, fast start. That's one of the things that Galen Hall mentioned yesterday.
Well, the Rhein Fire will have first chance as you look at the weather conditions here. A little bit of a breeze blowing. It's not a serious rain. Coming forward, kicking it away is Paul Cole, one of the national players. It winds up in the hands of Kennedy. Short kick, and Kennedy slips and falls as he crosses the 25 at the 27-yard line. Larry Kennedy was the man who received the opening kickoff, and you can see the field, I think, is going to very much come into play.
Yeah, I hope they have in their long cleats today, because we talked about this earlier.
Speaking of talking about this earlier, we have not mentioned earlier, Andy Kelly is playing a little bit hurt today. He's had the flu for the better part of a week. And the line on Andy Kelly is that he is not 100%. He will go as far as Andy Kelly can go, and there's no telling exactly how far that might be. Clark and Richardson in the backfield. This is Clark on first down. He got about 2. Rick Hamilton in the center of the line, the middle linebacker, coming up to make the stop for the Dragons. Take a look at the numbers on Andy Kelly. A lot of you remember him. The University of Tennessee had some dramatic games in Tennessee. 1,156 yards, 8 touchdowns, but 6 interceptions, and that's not a number that Andy, I don't believe, is too proud of. Second down, about 8. Kelly on a draw play this time. Bouncing outside with the ball is Clark, and Clark is going to be close to a first down. He's going to be about 2 yards short. I think of about 6.
I think this is a good start for Derek Clark. This is what he talked about yesterday, which was getting out to a hot start, and I think he's feeling good right now.
Here's the way the Rhein Fire lines up with Terry Richardson and Derek Clark in the backfield. They're a fullback-oriented team, though, and Clark has touched the ball in the first 2 possessions. Tommy Boyd and Manley Woods, the wideouts, and Byron Chamberlain, a guy who the Dragons plan to key on today. will be the tight end. Split backs again, and in motion to the far side goes Boyd on 3rd and short. And they give to Richardson, and Richardson is going to be close. Depends on the spot. I think he's going to get a generous spot here, Toy.
Yeah, you know what's interesting is they started out with running the ball. And we talked about this earlier with the rain. We wondered if it would affect, their passing game. One of the things that Galen Hall said was he was going to spread them out, make the defense move, and see what they could do.
It is enough for the first down as you look at the Rhein offensive line. Their national player, Wlaf, a guy who will get a shot in the NFL despite the fact that he's 28 years old. So a first down, and Kelly will go up for the first time today. Throws out of the backfield. Clark makes the catch to 42, slips ahead to about the 48-yard line, fumbled the ball, and the ball was picked up by the trailer, who was Richardson.
This is a good drive for the Rhein Fire. Everything that they're doing is working. A nice, easy pass. Get Andy Kelly in a good rhythm. We got to get Derek Clark to hold on to the ball, though.
And it was Byron Chamberlain who was right there to pick the ball up. Wound up in a gain of 9 yards. It'll be second down and short. Clark and Richardson in the backfield once more. Clark nearest you. This is Clark, and he doesn't get it. He gets nothing. As a matter of fact, lost about 2 yards. Vladimir Ilic, the national player, on the stop. Here's the clock that is only 35 seconds here in the World League of American Football. It's supposed to 40 in the NFL. Ilic, the national player, man who just made that stop, with Demetrius Edwards, Vince Stewart, and Josh Heinrich on the defensive line for Barcelona. All the teams in the WLAF this year playing a 4-3. Dragons were the last team to play a 3-4, and they felt they couldn't handle a run very well with it, so they made the change this year. Third down now, and a long 3. And Kelly will go up. Waits for traffic to clear, throws over the middle, and incomplete pass. Unable to hang on was the tight end, or rather the running back, Richardson. And I'm sure every NFL coach will say, you got to make that catch, Toy.
I think you got to make that catch, and I would think that he would want to get the first down. I don't even know if he had the first down, if he would have held on to the ball. But great tackle by the defensive back.
So for the first time, the Rhein Fire will punt it away. And a flag is down. Marvin Marshall will handle the 15-yard line. Gets by the first, gets the 18-yard line, and that's all. Now we'll see what the flag is all about. Kenny Gales made the tackle on special teams, but we'll see what the penalty is about. Going to be an offside penalty against Barcelona, and that's going to give a first down to the Rhein Fire. So the first break of the ball game goes the way of the Rhein Fire. Special teams have been something of an adventure for Barcelona this year.
Yeah, and this is a coach's nightmare. You're on the road. Your defense comes out, they stop them. You're supposed to get the ball back, and now because of a stupid penalty, they got the ball back, which is something you do not want to give to a team like the Rhein Fire. Any team of that kind.
Now I have it at the 49-yard line. Look over on the left of your screen, and Arias jumping off sides. Not quite sure who that was. Might have been Tony Sacca, actually, backup quarterback, who could be playing on special teams here.
I know that every special team coach right now is having a heart attack.
So first down, 10 ball at the 48-yard line of the Dragons. Short drop, Kelly to throw, throws out of the backfield. And the catch is made by Clark. Be a gain of a yard, maybe 2. Chris Grooms defending on the play, coming up from a strong safety spot.
That's a nice one-handed catch by Clark.
Here's a look at the linebackers for the Dragons. Eric Naposki, Rick Hamilton, Kevin O'Brien. Very active linebackers. As we said, they changed from a linebacker-dominated defense to a 4-3, and it puts, of course, more pressure on the guys who are playing there this year, O'Brien, Hamilton, and Naposki. Gain of about a yard and a half. We'll call it second and a long 8 now. Single setback, double slot formation for the first time, and Kelly sees something he doesn't like, and we'll call a timeout. And this, too, has been one of the problems for Barcelona. They have, or rather for the Rhein, they have burned timeouts early in the ball game, and they do it again here with 10:26 remaining to be played in the first period and no score. We're coming back. Coach of the Barcelona Dragons, one of the good guys. You remember him, of course, the head coach at Boston College, had the likes of Doug Flutie. Talked to him about how he likes it being over here. He said like a 16-week training camp. You spend time in Atlanta, you're all together, you all live together, and then you go to Barcelona where you're playing. And you're all together all over again for a 10-week season. So he likened it not to anything in the NFL where you're together in preseason and then everybody goes their own way. Here you're together all the time. 7th play of the drive. Andreas Motzkus, national player, played for the Dusseldorf Panthers in the ball game now. 4 wideouts. Kelly to throw wide open, and Kelly throws too tall that time, intended for Terry Richardson. Demetrius Edwards putting pressure on the quarterback.
It looks like they're sticking with their game plan, which you know, Galen Hall said he was going to spread out the defense and give him quick, short drops, and you could tell he's trying to get Andy Kelly into a rhythm.
Let's take a look at the secondary for the Barcelona Dragons. Michael Wright played at Washington State. Jack McDowell likes him a lot. Mike Middleton, Chris Grooms, and Kenny Gales have done a nice job so far today. 3rd down now, an 8 passing situation. Split backs behind Jones. Straight back again goes Kelly. Gets a little push this time. Throws. Again, he throws tall, but the catch is made downfield for a first down.
Hey, that's a nice throw. That's the kind of throw you want to see from your quarterback. I'm telling you, he might be sick, but he's looking pretty good to me right now.
Byron Chamberlain, who's going to draw double coverage all day long, just ran right by Hamilton, linebacker, backer. Nice little turnout and a great grab.
Yeah, they were in a man-to-man defense, and this time they lucked out and had a linebacker on him. He didn't have double coverage, and that made it much easier on Byron Chamberlain. That's what he likes to see.
First big play of the game. Ball inside the 30 at the 29-yard line, and the Rhein Fire on the move. Bring a man in motion this time, and here's a busted play. Kelly now rolling to his right, trying to find some help. He's going to run at the 30 and slides down at the 27. Turned a little something.
Hey, you know,
nothing.
That was actually a good play by Andy Kelly. They had what we call a bootleg and a wide delay, and the outside linebacker did a good job, as you see right here, staying on the wide receiver, so he has nowhere to go. For a moment, he was thinking about making a big play. Decided to take it, run, takes what he can get, and like I said, it was a good play. Positive yardage.
Heinrich and Illich both putting a pretty good push on Kelly, although I think there was some miscommunication there. This time the Dragons showing blitz. They didn't come with it. They go with a running play this time, and straight up the middle goes Clark, and he got a little bit, got about 5, maybe 6 yards. It's going to be 3rd down and a long 2 on the stop. Marvin Goodwin, former UCLA defensive back. Here are the numbers on Clark so far this year. 43 carries, 238 yards, and an average of 5.5 yards. That leads the World League of American Football. Clark, however, has been dividing time most recently with Davison. I'm sure we'll see him raining a little bit harder here now, too. 3rd down and long 2. They give to Clark once more, and I don't think he's going to get there. Clark will be stopped about a yard short, although once again, he may get a generous spot here.
What do you do right here? Do you go for it?
Diego Martos, national player, makes the stop on the play. Well, field goal kicking has been something of an adventure, and so on 4th down and less than a yard, they will in fact go. And they give it to Clark again, and Clark has the first down and more inside the 15 to the 14-yard line.
Barry, I know you remember yesterday when I asked Galen Hall on his first 4th down, would he go for it? Obviously, he's in a better situation than the situation I provided with. But right now, the Rhein Fire are doing everything that they need to do. You can see right here, Derek Clark gets up, does a good job of keeping his balance and getting extra yards. A lot of running backs would go down at that time, but good job by Derek Clark, soon to be one of my teammates.
That's right. He started at Florida State, wound up at Evangel College in Springfield, Missouri. And they give it to Clark again. Clark the workhorse early in that game. And in this game, I should say, and he gets about 2 to about the 12-yard line.
But the interesting thing about Derek Clark was he did go to FSU for a couple years, and then he had to leave because of guys like William Floyd and Edgar Bennett. They had a lot of fullbacks there, and he felt like he needed to go someplace else. He was also with me in San Francisco. He was a very good player, talented fullback, and he showed earlier that he could catch the ball. So
got a flag down on the play as well, and we'll see what this is all about.
Illegal participation, no national player on the defense.
Well, there's one you won't find back in the States, but you have to have a national player on alternating series. And the Dragons did not have a national player. See that the blue sign with the stars on it? When that is up, then both teams have to have a national player on the field. Here's some of the national player rules. Each team has to carry at least 7 nationals.
Illegal participation, no national player on the defense. That's a 5-yard penalty. First down.
Going to give another first down, too. A national must be on the field, as we said, every other series. National has to be used during all special team play. A national kicker must perform at least one aspect of the kicking game. And a violation is a 5-yard penalty, which you just saw, and it gives the Rhein Fire a first down. So the Fire toy really getting off exactly as they indicated they had to.
And exactly how Jack McNeil did not want this series to go, especially coming off of last week's 48-14 game.
Now remember, they gave up 21 points early to Amsterdam, and for all intent, the game was over.
You're on the road. This is not what you want. You do not want the offensive team to go down. They were aided by the special team penalty. And then not having the national player on was a killer. So I would have to say those are 2 bonehead plays.
There's a good-looking Clark, as we said, going to Denver to be a teammate of my partner, Toy Cook. There's his numbers so far tonight. Mike Shanahan wanted to work on his blocking. He's going to play fullback. You got to be able to stick people. Running the ball has not been his problem. As you saw, he's got a 5.5-yard average on the season.
Well, Derek was also with me in San Francisco for a couple of weeks, and he's a really good player. Great attitude and great heart.
Jack McNeil obviously not liking what he's seeing so far.
There's no infraction on the play. Number 66 was in the game at the time of the snap. There's no infraction. The down will be second down.
Jack McNeil, having heard the referee in today's game, who is Bill Carollo, say there is no infraction. So it's going to be second down and about 8 after all is said and done. Well, it's 2nd and 7. 6 minutes, 6 seconds, but a very good drive for the Rhein Fire. They've used up coming down toward 9 minutes. Dragons have not yet had the ball. Single setback this time, and they bring Richardson in motion off the wing. Kelly to throw, throws a slant, and almost had it picked. Boy, you could almost see the eyes of the cornerback, Michael Wright, that time, Toy.
This is the guy that Jack McNeil said is a player. He's from Washington State. He's a lot like Ricky Reynolds, the great cornerback out of the New England Patriots. That would have been a great opportunity to get a pick. One thing you don't want to do down here as an offense is turn the ball over. But with these conditions, you definitely have to get 7 because you don't know if you're going to be able to get 3.
Yeah, the field is very slippery. We should talk about the field a little bit. Most American fields, of course, are crowned because only football is played on them. They're crowned for the drainage. This is a soccer field, and it's a lot flatter, and it does not drain as well, so it's pretty slick. On 3rd down, Kelly to throw, does so. Ball is caught this time, and knocked out of bounds that time is Derek Clark once again, who's proving himself an excellent receiver. It'll be enough for a first down and goal to go.
Very, very. You see right here, Andy Kelly dropping back. The thing that I like about this play is watch how Derek Clark gets up the field. He knows where the first down is. He's saying, get out of the way, I'm getting the first down. Ryan playing with a lot of heart today in the first series.
First down and goal at the 2-yard line. A drive that has now gone over the 10-minute mark. And they give it Clark on first down, and he's in. Touchdown, Rhein Fire. That's just about the way you draw it up.
I think that's the way you draw it up. like I said, two big plays, you know, the two penalties, the special team penalty offsides, and not having a national player on defense. And I think Derek Clark is feeling a lot better than how he felt yesterday.
An 18-play drive. 72 yards on that drive. They got the help of a penalty on a punting situation. And the try for point by Bergsmuller, and it hits the crossbar and is no good. Bergsmuller at 46 years of age. That's only his second extra point attempt that he's missed. So a drive that consumed 10 minutes and 11 seconds ends in just the sixth. They missed the extra point. The Rhein Fire leads by 6.
Looking on FX.
Well, this bodes well for the Rhein Fire. Getting on the board first, they have been a team that has historically played catch-up, and that's the man who has really gotten it done so far. Davis carried the ball the bulk of the time. 17 plays, 70 yards officially. 10 minutes, 11 seconds. Clark, 3-yard touchdown run, carried 8 times, 24 yards. He was saying, we have got to jump on people. When he talked to him yesterday, he said, we can't just sit back and see if we can catch up.
Well, also early in the season, he was the workhorse, and then for a couple of games there, he was alternating, much to his dismay. So I know that Derek Clark is feeling very, very good about that drive, and then hopefully he'll get the ball some more.
Aragu's kicking it off now, and it's a short kick headed for Thompson at the 11-yard line. Thompson to the 20, sidesteps one man, still on his feet, gets outside at the 25-yard line and down at the 26-yard line. Here's a case of the wet field slowing him up a little bit. When he bounced outside, Toy, it looked as though he was going to get in. Take another look at the touchdown.
Well, just a great job of blocking. I believe that Barry Tompkins could have ran that ball in right there.
Don't bet on it.
You see right here, he gives up the field. What can I say? Florida State, little William Floyd. I don't think he got that from Evangel.
It's one of his pals, William Floyd, and you can learn a lot from Floyd. So Kelly Holcomb leads his team to the line of scrimmage for the first time today. Charles Thompson will be the single setback. They go with an H-back and a tight end, 2 wideouts. On first down, Holcomb going up. Rolls away from pressure, now throws, and all over his back that time, and now a late flag. I was going to say it looked like interference all the way on Anthony Fieldings, and it was.
Well, the interesting thing here is, you know, talking to Holcomb yesterday, he said that, you know, if he thought he was in any kind of trouble, one of the things that he wanted to do was don't get rid of the ball. And you saw that the tight end was covered. He did the right thing, threw it out. And in the NFL, if the quarterback gets outside of the pocket as a defensive player, you're usually allowed to knock the receiver around. But I don't believe that rule is in effect here.
Interference, number 50 defense. It's a spot foul, automatic first down.
So an automatic first down, and Anthony Fieldings says, yeah, I did it. Fieldings played his college ball at tiny Morningside College.
I don't even think that ball was catchable.
Well, I don't think Fieldings gave Demetrius Davis any chance to get to it. I think it was a moot point.
Hey, but you know what's interesting here is, you know, Barcelona's decision to come out throwing the ball.
Ball at the 36-yard line. Alalampi comes to the near side, slot left with Thompson the lone setback. And a fumble. And Holcomb dives on it and saves it. Kelly Holcomb, a guy who played his college ball at Middle Tennessee, 4-year starter, talked about the fact that he grew up wanting to go to Alabama. He's a country boy, and he's going to play in Tampa Bay. And I kind of think he's got a real chance there, to tell you the truth.
You know, everything that this guy said, I loved. You know, he's happy to be over here. He wanted to come over here. He wanted to improve on some things, and he understood that this was the best situation for him in terms of getting true reps.
This is another series where there'll be a national player for each team. I'll tell you about it in a second. Deep drop this time. Holcomb now in trouble, and down he goes way back at the 22-yard line as the Rhein Fire blew in. Anthony Fieldings more than making amends for that interference call.
The Rhein Fire have come to play, and if you're Jack Becknell, I think you're sweating.
This came right up through the gap that time. Holcomb didn't have a chance.
Here's what they can do. I don't even understand the play calling. You know, in the first couple of series, we've seen a lot of drop balls. You would think they'd come out and try to establish the run, do something quick, and they've taken too long of drops.
Got a good look at Anthony Fielding. He's got some help from James Wilson on the play, too. Holcomb straight back on third down, and a whole bunch throws deep, and nobody there. Pass was intended that time downfield for Demetrius Davis. Mike Salmon defending.
I believe this is death for Barcelona. Not only do you give up in your first series an 11-play drive for a touchdown, but your first time out with the ball, you end up going backwards, and now you have to punt, and Rhein Fire are going to get excellent field position. This is not what Jack McNeil wanted, especially, like I said earlier, coming off the 42-14.
Shane Edge to do the punting. It's a fake, and now Edge trying to run away from trouble, throws the ball downfield. It's caught, but it's going to be well short of the first down, and now a late flag comes in.
Yeah, legal man downfield.
I'm sure it's got to be.
You know, Shane Edge, no stranger to weird plays. You know, you mentioned this earlier.
The snap was high.
I think he has to punt that ball.
Ineligible player downfield on the pass. Number 51 offense. That punt penalty is declined. First down.
So another big break for Rhein. Oh, you can see the snap way over the head.
But I believe he has time. Kick the ball right here. A lot of times, punters, who aren't the greatest athletes, but even though that's a great throw, had a little spiral to it. I think he had an opportunity to kick the ball. That would have been his best job. And I'm sure the special team coach, when he talks to him, will ask him why he didn't kick the ball.
Now, we talked earlier about the fact that special teams for Barcelona has been an adventure, and it's jumped up and bit the Dragons twice here already today. It sustained the Rhein Fire drive earlier today, which wound up in a touchdown. Play fake, Kelly to throw, throws out of the backfield. Catch made by Antoine Carter, and Carter is run out of bounds by Eric Moposki.
This is the same play that they tried earlier, but with the receiver. This time they do it with the running back, and they're a little more effective.
Antoine Carter played his college ball at University of Arizona. He's tough. I saw Antoine Carter have a huge game where he rushed for almost 200 yards one game. Very tough to bring down. Short, squat build, huge thighs.
Leading rusher, Arizona.
Second down and 5. Davison, incidentally, in at fullback. This is Davison with the ball at the 30, at the 26-yard line. It's going to be enough for a first down, I believe, or close to it. Rick Hamilton on the stop.
That was a great lead block by number 77, Harden. Jerome Davison, another former teammate of mine that was in San Francisco on a practice squad. Barry, I bet you didn't know he wanted to name his son Geronimo. He's a part Indian. But his wife, thank God, talked him out of it.
Cooler heads. They got an Arizona and an Arizona State running back in the ball game now. So we talked about the fact that Derek Clark was the catalyst on that first drive, and sure enough, on the second drive, replacing the 2 running backs, Richardson and Clark, with Davison and Carter. And we're going to get a measurement, and it is enough for a first down.
I cannot stress, this is what Galen Hall wanted to do. And I believe the rain has probably made it a little better situation for the Rhein Fire, and the fact that they wanted to establish their run. And this is definitely not what Jack McNeil wanted.
Davison comes in a single setback this time with Boyd to the near side and a slot right with Knox in the slot. Might have caught the Dragons jumping that time. The give is to Davison, and Davison stopped at 21-yard line, but they're going to get a free 5 here, I think. Mike Middleton makes the tackle.
I'm telling you, it's going to be a long day for Barcelona if they keep making dumb penalties.
Offside against the Dragons is the call, so very likely they'll take the penalty, even though the gain might have been a yard more than the penalty, but it gives them a down over.
Offside, defense, that's a 5-yard penalty, still remains first down.
I don't care what team you're playing, whether they be 1 and 5 or 6, you cannot keep giving offenses chances to line up and run play after play after play.
So it'll be first down and 5. Straight back Kelly with a free play here. Throws a little drag pattern. Ball is caught this time by Byron Chamberlain again, and Chamberlain dragged out of bounds close to another first down. Big Penn and Middle didn't run him out. But the Fire doing everything right now, Toy.
Listen, you know, they're going to the people they wanted to go to. They're running the ball. They're getting penalties. And great play by Byron Chamberlain, showing why he was a receiver before being converted to a tight end.
Chamberlain had an outstanding game against Barcelona the last time these two hooked up. He caught 8 balls for 128 yards, so he's no secret. They talked about the fact that they were going to double him, but he's finding ways to get himself open. That time, just a little drag pattern. Wait for the traffic to clear and get right across the field.
Well, I think what you know, Galen's done is really smart. He spread the defense out, so if you did try to double team him, someone would be exposed. And I think under these wet field conditions and the way Barcelona's playing, they're on their heels. They're struggling.
Incidentally, the rain has stopped, at least for the moment. I'm not sure how quickly this field will dry. We started to talk about the fact that American fields are much more crowned because there isn't soccer played on them, but here this is predominantly a soccer field, and therefore it's much flatter, so it does not drain as quickly. Split backs this time on second down, less than a yard, and a sneak for Kelly, and he'll have the first down inside the 15 to the 14-yard line.
These are 2 good drives, picture perfect. Once again, aided by dumb penalties and mistakes, but picture perfect drives by the Rhein Fire.
44 seconds remaining in the first quarter now, and the quarter has absolutely been dominated by the Rhein Fire. As a matter of fact, Barcelona's had only 3 offensive snaps. Kelly leads his team to the line of scrimmage again. Davis and Carter are the setbacks.
They're in,
And they give it to Davison on a little bit of a slant. Davison gets to about the 12-yard line, a gain of about 3, and that very likely will be the last play of the first quarter. So both fullbacks getting the job done in the first period. Darren Rhein made the tackle for the Dragons, but it's been all the offense of the Rhein Fire so far in the first quarter as we've reached the end of the first 15 minutes of play. And the Rhein Fire doing exactly what they set out to do. This has been a team that has just been beat up on in the first 15 minutes, and in fact the first 30 minutes of just about every game they've played. Well, it's the exact opposite. The BTs are the beaters. 6-0. Rhein over Barcelona.
Monday at 2/1 Central, only on FX. Sponsored by Coca-Cola.
And now, Bud Light presents World League of American Football Facts. Recently introduced in the NFL, wireless communication between coach and quarterback has been used in the World Football League since 1991. Hey, World League, make it a Bud Light.
Barry Tompkins with Toy Cook. We welcome you back to Rheinstadion in Dusseldorf, Germany, where the home team, the Rhein Fire, has literally owned the ball game so far. They lead it 6-0. It doesn't appear to be much on the scoreboard, but they have just dominated the Barcelona Dragons. Galen Hall, every reason to be a pretty happy man. His quarterback came in here with the flu, playing, if not spectacular, solid football so far. This time they go with a single setback and a slot left. They're going to put it up, a little floater for the end zone, and it is caught in the end zone beautifully by Kevin Knox. Knox with the touchdown pass. Nice touch pass by Kelly, and a great job to hang on by Knox over Michael Wright.
Michael Wright was there. He just didn't make a play on the ball. Kevin Knox got up, made the play.
Well, Kevin Knox, one of the what's starting to be prototypical wide receivers, is a tall guy, 6'2", a little bit thin at 199 pounds, out of Florida State. And he just got up over Michael Wright, who's not small as a cornerback, for as cornerbacks go at 6 feet.
Yeah, no, I think it's just one of those things where they were both there and he made the play. And that's why Michael Wright is sure to work on that type of stuff.
Try for point by Manfred Bergsmuller. Missed the first, makes the second. And we've got a timeout on the field just 5 seconds into the second period, and the Rhein Fire has taken a 13-0 lead over the Barcelona Dragons. We'll be back.
$29.99 now for a free trial issue of Men's Health magazine. Subscribe now at our lowest price and get all 3 books free. Have your credit card ready.
Here's the man who scored the touchdown.
Jesus. All the boys back in Phoenix. What's up? My mom and dad in South Carolina, my brother, and my 2 sisters. I love you.
I think I need to switch places with him. He got more words out than I could.
He got it all in. He's going to wrap that baby up, send it back to Phoenix.
To the house.
Happy guy, Kevin Knox. Why not? Made a nice grab.
I think he's saying
Short kick by Arguz. It's handled by Wilburn at the 26-yard line. He gets nothing. And obviously the footing, especially in that area, we've seen 2 or 3 guys go down in that area.
I think you see right here, you're going to see a little push off, but they'll never call this. Michael Wright has to turn and look. See how he's just looking? If he turns and looks, puts his shoulder against him, he has a better chance of making that play. That's the toughest play for a DB. It's a well-thrown ball. You have to give credit to the quarterback and to Knox. But like Ron Pitt said earlier this year, they'll never make that call. As a defensive back, there is no offensive penalty.
Wilburn, the man who returned the kick, is coming off with some help. And Wilburn, remember, the only backup at the running back spot to Charles Thompson. Oftentimes they will line an H-back up in the backfield and then put him in motion out of the backfield. This is Thompson, left side, trying to get around the corner, can't do it. Play strung out nicely that time by Anthony Fieldings. Fieldings having a nice game so far, Tony.
The Rhein defense and the Rhein team in whole have come to play. You know, earlier in the telecast, we said this was a do-or-die situation. It looks like Rhein Fire are a little bit more fired up than the Barcelona Dragons.
Galen Hall, we spoke with him last night. He was loose as a goose, and we kind of expected maybe he might be a little tight. His team was 1-5, but he had the voice of a confident man, and so far his team is bearing that out. Holcomb straight back to pass, throws underneath, caught by Davis. A gain of only about 2 or 3 yards on the play, as he was cracked right now by that man again, Anthony Fieldings.
Anthony Fieldings, got to say his name over and over. He's come to play.
Here's a look at Demetrius Davis, 29th consecutive game with a reception. That is a WLAF record. He's got a gang of them.
That's frustration right there. You can see it in his face.
Talk a little bit more about Demetrius Davis. A very interesting guy as this game goes on. Slot right this time. On 3rd down, about 6. Holcomb in trouble. Now he steps up, throws, caught, 1st down. And the man on the receiving end of that was Marvin Marshall. Did a nice job to hold on in the arms of Larry Kennedy and Donald Douglas.
That might have been the biggest play for the Barcelona Dragons this first half, converting that 3rd down, because if
that's their first down. Take another look.
You know, going back, we talked earlier where sometimes he had a tendency to look at one guy, but you can see he came off his first read, and that was his second read. So good play, good job of getting the 1st down.
Sure did. Threw the ball very well, too. Drilled it in there, which he had to do. Marshall made the catch. 1st down, the first one of the ball game, right at the 40-yard line. Slot left, single setback. Holcomb straight back again, throws underneath, batted in the air, and it is caught by one of the linemen. That'll be a good catch if it is caught by a Dragon. If it's caught by the Rhein Fire, of course, an interception. And the bottom line is it's caught by nobody. It would have been allowed had an interior lineman caught the ball because it went off the hands of the intended receiver.
I'm telling you right now, Barcelona Dragons are going through deja vu.
And that's the kinds of things that just simply self-destructs an offense.
You're on the road. You're in the playoff hunt. You need a game. And you go out and you make penalties. This will drive every coach and general manager crazy.
Going to bring about a 1st and 20 situation. Dragons are the passingest team in the World League of American Football.
Holding, number 76, offense. 10-yard penalty, repeat 2nd down. 1st down, correction.
Call's going to go against Chuck Bradley, number 76. Let's watch.
He drops back right here. Oh, that's a takedown.
Full takedown.
That's a full takedown. A little like that WWF I saw last night in German on my television.
How was that? Can still understand it, though. The grunts are just about the same. Thompson, the lone setback. They bring Davis up on a wing this time. Shed to the near side. Holcomb on 1st and 20 throws wide open this time. And making the catch is Bryce Burnett in front of Ricky Andrews, and they got about 13 of it back, maybe 14.
Bryce Barnett, another one of my former teammates from San Jose State. Runs straight to the flat. Linebacker lays off a little bit. This is a good throw from the quarterback. Linebacker doesn't stick with his man. Bryce gets up the field and makes the catch. Good job. He too will also be in Denver.
Well, they play a lot of tight ends. They sometimes will play actually 3 with an H-back as well. Demetrius Davis and Bryce Burnett. Jeremy Burkett will also get some time. Holcomb hit as he throws. Incomplete pass.
Hey, earlier, Barry, you told me that you thought that the Rhein Fire was a team in disarray. I'm going to say right now that Barcelona is the team in disarray.
No, absolutely right. Rhein has got it all together. Lance Teichelman was the man who was putting a big push that time on Holcomb.
As you see right here, he comes off the corner untouched. A linebacker's dream right there. Oh, yeah, you got to give it a little push. Got the quarterback down there. Kelly Holcomb, lucky to be alive.
3rd down and 8. Slot right this time. Thompson, the lone setback. Straight back Holcomb. This time he's got time. Steps up, throws, incomplete, intended for Marshall. Well defended that time, but a catchable ball. Matt Guy, help from Donald Douglas.
He drops back right here. He's looking at his one guy. You got about 3 guys. I don't think you know. From this angle, I can't tell if he could drop the ball. But with all those guys, 3 guys, 1 receiver. I think anytime it's 3rd and 8, it's going to be tough in this field condition.
Well, once again, here's what has been an adventure. Tommy Boyd, the deep man, to receive Shane Edge's punt. Line drive kick. Boyd should have a chance here. At the 15, still on his feet at the 20, necktied and down at the 20-yard line. And they're on the stop for the Rhein Fire. Or rather for the Dragons was Ken Alexander to make the stop on special teams. So the Fire will get it back, leading 13-0.
7-Up attitudes. Anytime, anywhere in the U.S. You're covered on every type of call on your AT&T phone.
Tough afternoon so far for that man, Kelly Holcomb, and he's looking for somebody to tell him what the heck is going on. This is a team that has just sputtered, actually sputtered on both sides of the line of scrimmage, and Kelly Holcomb has been under siege as the Rhein Fire suddenly has found a pretty good push against him. Fire will have the ball back at their own 20-yard line. They'll go back to Terry Richardson and Derek Clark as the running back tandem. And look at the numbers on Andy Kelly, 7 of 10 with a touchdown, 55 yards. So they're doing everything right so far. And Dragons going the other way. This time they bring Richardson out of the backfield and line him up outside of Knox. And Kelly gives to Clark, and Clark at the 20, at the 25, about the 28-yard line. Clark picking up right where he left off.
I think Derek Clark is ready to go straight to Denver right now. The way he's running the ball. Look at the leg drive. Is this a guy out to prove something or what? He switches the ball. That's nice. Runs the cornerback over and gets extra yards.
2nd down and 8 now. Ball at the 28-yard line. Knox, the man who scored the touchdown, comes to the near side. Split backs Richardson and Clark. Clark again, and a 1st down across the 30 to the 31. Tommy Thigpen on the stop, and a flag down.
I think with Clark, Jamal Ellis, and Chamberlain, those are all going to be my future teammates on the Denver Broncos. We have Bryce Barnett on the other side with Barcelona, who'll also be a Denver Broncos. So this is, Mike Shanahan has practically half the team over here in the World Football, in the World League, excuse me.
Number 93 defense, 5 yards only, 1st down.
Incidental face mask, that'll add 5 more yards to Derek Clark's run. Clark now 9 carries, 33 yards. Here's the Denver connection we talked about, not to mention the man sitting to my right, Toy Cook, Jamal Ellis, Byron Chamberlain, Derek Clark. Mike Shanahan, I think, is just a guy who realizes the value of this league.
I think it's very, very brilliant, very, very smart, and indicative of why Mike Shanahan's a head coach.
Andreas Mutzkus in the ball game now. National player at a wide-out position. Play fake. Kelly to throw. Throwing for Mutzkus, or rather for Manley Woods, and there's going to be an interference call at the 28-yard line.
I don't know if this is a good call, but this is the toughest play for a defensive back, the underthrown fade. The reason being that the receiver has the ability to see the ball and adjust. And we saw earlier Michael Wright not looking for the ball. And has come back to haunt him on this play.
Vladimir Ilyich was putting a pretty good push that time on Andy Kelly. Kelly had to unload the ball.
First down.
And Michael Wright doesn't exactly agree with that call.
Usually under pressure, a quarterback will get rid of the ball because he's always, the chances, that's a bad call. That's a bad call. He had turned, he looked. I swear this was the NFL. But he did. Michael Wright did everything that he was supposed to do. Sometimes you're not going to get that call because of the referees, and hopefully he won't let it bother him. But he did everything you're supposed to do as a defensive back, which he turned to look for the ball.
One thing Jack McNeil told us was his team was having all sorts of trouble with stunts. Here's a give this time to Clark again, the right side. Clark now cuts it up, gets about 3 to about the 28-yard line. You know, the offensive line's doing a pretty good job because Clark's not getting any contact till he's 2 or 3 yards down the field.
They're doing a great job. They're manhandling the Barcelona Dragons defensive line. Clark is down. Hopefully, he's all right.
They came off the field and started a runoff and suddenly just dropped down. And he will be tended to, and they, of course, will take special care.
Usually when a guy goes down like that, it's usually either a cramp or a pull.
Not really treating it too much like a cramp, though. Here's Galen Hall.
I think it's too early in the game to get a cramp, isn't it? You never know, though.
Derek Clark, as we said, on his way to the Denver Broncos. Mike Shanahan was the guy who came to him and said, I want you to get back into game shape. He said, I know you can run the football. You got to go there, work on your blocking.
Oh, yeah, that's an ankle. He's limping.
Earlier this year, he had an ankle problem, and this might just be a re-aggravation of all of that. Well, they talk about the fact that you got to set up the run to be able to play pass, and the Fire doing exactly that so far, Toy.
Well, right now they're up 52 yards to 2 yards rushing for the Dragons. And as we said earlier, you would think with the field conditions that running the ball would be the forte of both teams. And the Rhein Fire have obviously done it much better.
Dragons have put the ball up, as you said, more than anybody in the league. They're the numbers we just spoke to you about. The Dragons just kind of show you the run. They don't do much with it at all. Here comes a blitz. Everybody coming, and Kelly unloads. The ball is caught, and it'll be about 2 yards short of the first down. Chamberlain with a nice catch, but credit Kelly with unloading the ball as Barcelona was coming with everybody.
That's a great play. We call that the Y stick, where the Y goes out. Well, actually, it was a crossing play. He read the blitz. He got rid of it quick, made the catch. Look how strong he is. That's a determined player. I can't wait to have him. I don't want to tackle him. I just want to have him on my team.
Kelly did a nice job to see this blitz coming and just unload. Everybody coming.
Notice how he looked to the left, saw the blitz coming, and got rid of the ball where he knew his outlet guy was.
3rd down and 4 now. Big play right here for the Rhein Fire. Kelly straight back to pass again. Throws out of the backfield. Caught by Davison. And down to about the 16-yard line. First down. Chris Rhein ran him out, but too late.
The Rhein Fire are doing everything that they need to do to win. And this is exactly how the game for Barcelona started last week. They didn't have anybody out in the flat. He gets rid of the ball. Another good decision. See how he was looking up the middle of the field, knew where his guy was, got the ball to him. Good job of getting up the field, Jerome Davison, and getting the first down.
First down, the ball at the 16-yard line. That was a big 3rd down play. This is the set that they ran the fade off the last time. Davison, the lone set, slot left. Straight back Kelly. in trouble. Down he goes. That'll be a fumble, and it's recovered by the Rhein Fire. Down on the ball very quickly was Darren Rhein to save what could have been a disaster.
This is indicative of what's happening in Barcelona. They have a guy come off the corner, beat his man clean, gets a clean hit on the quarterback, ball pops up. Do they get the ball? No, the Rhein gets the ball. I'm telling you, nothing's going right for Barcelona right now.
And the ball even popped forward just to make it a little bit worse. Still a loss on the play of about 9 yards. It's going to be second down, 19. Single setback, slot left. Same set as the last time. Straight back to pass. Goes Kelly in trouble again, and down he goes way back at the 39-yard line in the arms of Darren Rhein and Vince Stewart.
Yeah, two things that happened right there. Two back-to-back sacks. Something you definitely do not want to happen when you're down in the red zone. Andy Kelly has to get rid of that ball. See, I think he's expecting a little too much. Right now I think it's 2nd and 18. It'd be better for him just to throw a 5-yard route and get the 10 yards. That's what they've been doing so far, and it's been working.
Darren Rhein having a very nice ball game from his defensive end spot out of the University of Miami.
Is it me or is everybody from Florida, Miami, and Florida State?
And this isn't exactly their weather, is it? Third down and 1,000,000. Kelly throws. Ball's caught underneath this time by Chamberlain. Chamberlain now gets it going in the right direction, takes it down the 25-yard line. He got about 12 yards back, but it's still a long way to go. It'll be 4th down in a kicking situation. A field goal team coming on.
Well, here's something that'll make Brian Periani, the tight end coach of the Denver Broncos, happy. Notice how Byron Chamberlain catches the ball with his hands. A lot of players try to catch the ball with their body, but then under these wet conditions, he uses his hand to catch the ball.
So Manfred Bergsmuller, who is 1 of 2 in the extra point department, will come on to try a field goal. Oh, it is Leo Araguz who is trying a field goal. I beg your pardon. It's on its way. It's short. So Bergsmuller, who usually does the field goal kicking, gives away to Araguz.
Both kickers 0 for 2 right now. The Barcelona kicker.
The score remains 13-0 for the Rhein Fire. Told that Bergsmuller is usually the short field goal kicker. They bring Araguz on for the longer efforts, and that one was going to be a 49-yarder.
That looks like Derek Clark might be through for the day. Usually when you see players sitting up like that with the jacket on, they're usually through.
So the Dragons dodge a bullet. They start at their own 32. They give it a draw play this time to Thompson at the 35, at the 40, at the 42-yard line, a gain of 9.
If I'm Barcelona, I'm running the ball all the way down through the half, Barry.
Here's the playoff format for the World League. The Scottish Claymores will host the World Bowl. It'll be played up at Edinburgh because they won the first half. Now, if the same team wins both halves, then the team with the second best overall record will qualify as the opponent of the Claymores in the World Bowl. And that, of course, will be seen on Fox television back home. Slot left this time. Thompson the lone setback, 2nd and short. And they give to Thompson again, right side. Thompson with the first down at the 45-yard line. Well, Sunday, June 23rd, it'll be the Scottish Claymores and somebody in the World Bowl. It'll be played at Murrayfield in Edinburgh, Scotland. The Scottish Claymores playing host to the team with the best overall record. But as we said earlier, if the Claymores finish with the best overall record in the second half, then it'll be the team with the second best overall record. The ticket hotline, 01, 41, and all those other numbers that you saw. Klaus Biedermann, the national player in the ball game now for the Rhein Fire. Holcomb will throw, and almost stepping in front, but the ball is caught instead by Marvin Marshall. That ball looked for all the world as though it was going to be intercepted by Jamal Ellis.
Yeah, when I get a chance to sit down with Jamal, I'm going to have to teach him a little technique. I think what you're going to see is, A, he reaches with the wrong hand. Anytime that you're on the left side and you're coming across the field to knock down a ball, he wants to reach with his right hand. See how he reached with his left hand? For some reason, if the receiver caught the ball and turned up the field, he wouldn't be able to make the tackle.
2nd down and 3 is for the first time the Dragons start to move the ball with some consistency. Slot left once again. Draw play for Thompson. Thompson stutter steps now. He gets outside. Got a nice little move at the 45, at the 43-yard line. It'll be another first down for Barcelona in Rhein territory. Anthony Fieldings and Mike Salmon on the stop.
That's a nice job of running. I think you can see right here, it looks like the field's not affecting Charles Thompson. Look at these cuts. That's vintage Barry Sanders. I think Barry Sanders might be a little bit more quick. What do you think?
I've never seen anybody cut like Barry Sanders. Charles Thompson, of course, out of Oklahoma, originally wound up, graduated from Central State. Quite a story of which we will elaborate a little bit at halftime. I'm sure most of you know he had his troubles with the law. Spent some time in jail, trying to get his life straightened out. If you talk to the coaching staff at Barcelona, they'll quickly tell you he's done just that. Holcomb unloads it for Thompson. Thompson with a big gain at the 35, at the 30, and out of bounds with a first down.
Now, Barry, you're going to like this. Not only does he miss the block on the linebacker, but he gets up, catches the ball, and gets up the field.
Galen Hall had that kind of look like, boy, we did everything right, and we still got bit.
Look at Charles Thompson. He's supposed to block the linebacker. You can't see it right here. The linebacker hops over him, but he has the presence of mind to get up, and Kelly Holcomb has the presence of mind to get him the ball. He gets up the field to make a positive play.
It's not a good idea, the strength of Kelly Holcomb, too, at 6'2" and 202 pounds. Got a good, strong body. Holcomb straight back to pass, got all day to throw. Finally does. Waited a little bit too long. Gonna get a flag interference up over the top. Jamal Ellis without a little late.
I don't know about these calls. I think one of the things they need to have the referees do, especially coming from a defensive back standpoint, I think that the referees, they should have referees that play defensive back. I think all these guys played receiver because I've never seen a call go towards the defensive back.
Interference, number 27, defense. Automatic first down at the spot of the foul.
Oh, we'll get a chance to take another look at this, and you see what you think. Holcomb held the ball a little bit too long, but when he did unload it, Ellis broke on the ball a little bit too quick.
Oh, that looks like good timing for me. But I'm a defensive back, so I got to stay with my guys.
As it is, it'll be a first down at the 20-yard line. Single setback again. Straight back goes Holcomb once again with time. Drag pattern over the middle. Caught by the tight end, Demetrius Davis, out of bounds at about the 12-yard line.
This is a nice drive by the Barcelona Dragons. If they can get some points on the board, they'll definitely feel much better going in at halftime.
It was Bryce Burnett on the reception, not Demetrius Davis. Interchangeable parts on this Dragons team. Tight ends make big noise in the WLAF, as you can see. Chamberlain, who we're watching in this ball game, the leading receiver in the league. Davis is second. Burnett, who just caught that last ball, is third. Same offensive set. They give to Thompson, and he doesn't get much. I don't believe he's going to get the first down. He only needed 2, but I think he's going to be short. Peter Gross-Pass, national player from right here in Dusseldorf, played for the Dusseldorf Panthers on the tackle. It's going to be close.
You know, Charles Thompson went to Central State, Ohio, home of Vince Buck, New Orleans Saints free safety, and a good friend of mine. So, hello, Vince Buck. I just throw you a bone.
Central State. Whistle blow, and we got the 2-minute warning here as the Barcelona Dragons will be looking at a third down at about 2. They didn't give Thompson very much at all on that last gain, and I'm sure this is going to be 2-down territory so far as Jack Bicknell is concerned. 2 minutes remaining in the half, and the Rhein Fire all over the Barcelona Dragons, 13-0.
Once upon a time, there was a fairy princess who looked a lot like you. And she had a magic wand, too.
Action Lane remembers the old porch gliders, but ours have comfortable padding and a unique gliding mechanism for a smoother, gentler ride indoors.
Once upon a time, there was a fairy princess. Your grandpa used to say it was just like me.
Introducing the new glider recliner from Action Lane. Call 1-800-700-1233 for your local dealer and a free buyer's guide.
Looking for something?
Yeah, that dime from Sprint's long-distance plan?
Having trouble finding it, huh?
Yeah.
Well, that's because depending on when you call, the Sprint cents rate isn't always a dime. It could be a quarter or 65 cents on calls to Canada.
Oh.
Try AT&T True Reach Savings. On average, most people can save more than with Sprint cents when they spend $25 a month on calls in the U.S. Plus, you'll always save more on calls to Canada.
Wow, I found what I'm looking for.
That's your true choice, AT&T.
Hey there, I am FX agent Jeff Probst with agent Jane Cinnamon Fergus.
This weekend, Backchat celebrates the Memorial Day FX Mission Impossible Marathon with Mission Backchat.
One entire Backchat dedicated to the coolest spy show ever with our guest, IMF guru Peter Graves here, right here, in IMFX Central.
Forget about standing in that long line for the movie.
Catch the original. Did I mention Peter Graves is going to be here?
Mission Backchat. Tomorrow at 4, 3 Central, only on FX.
Heck, the entire show could self-destruct at any second.
Hey, if you enjoy the company of animals, then you'll enjoy the pet department on FX.
What?
A jungle inside the house.
Every day, you'll learn something about pets that might surprise you.
That's a bone.
And see something you might not expect.
Whoa.
We cover everything about pets you've ever thought of.
Do dogs dream?
And a lot of things you never would have thought of.
Look, I've been practicing. Are you ready?
It's a pet show filled with stuff you'll actually be interested in.
And just the right amount of fluff.
The Pet Department. Weekdays at 3, 2 Central, only on FX.
Arrow.
2 minutes remaining in the first half. It had been all Rhein fire, but right now, Toy, it looks as though the Barcelona Dragons starting to get into a little bit more of a rhythm.
Well, you know, I think it also was precipitated by those 2 sacks down in the Rhein territory. They got the ball, they've driven down, and they're in 2, as you said, 2 down territory.
They come with a single setback, Thompson. 3rd down, about 2. In motion this time comes Browning. They're going to put it up.
Yeah.
And Holcomb in trouble down at the 21-yard line. They were looking for Browning all the way.
And he was open. He held the ball too long. I don't know what he was waiting on. I thought he was going to go to Browning and the pass to the flat, but look right here. He has Browning open in the flat. No one's there. Dustin Anderson, the guy that they have started, because they felt like they weren't getting pressure from Stacey Evans. They put in Dustin Anderson. He comes in, gets a big sack. A sack that shouldn't have happened, actually.
Scott Zerity with the field goal try, and it is up and good. And so the Dragons don't come up empty. They put 3 points on the board, but they were sitting pretty with a 3rd down and short, probably in 2 down territory. Then the sack and the loss, and Zerity puts home the field goal to get Barcelona within 10, but the Rhein Fire continues to lead the ballgame. It came up with a very big sack.
I think what you're going to see here is Alfonso Browning open. Coming from this side, you can't see it, but it's a great rush by Dustin Anderson. But the problem was, he held, you know, Kelly Holcomb held the ball way too long. All he needed was 2 yards. Get the ball to Alfonso Browning, get the 1st down, going for a score. Instead, they get 3 points. It's a moral victory, but I'm telling you, when they look at the film, he's going to be really upset with himself.
What's up, Mama? Happy birthday. That's for you.
Little birthday wishes from Dunstan Anderson, who made the big play. It's very tough on these guys. Come over here, spend all this time, and it's interesting in talking to them. Almost all of them really appreciated the experience, really enjoyed it. Got to get around, got to see a part of the world that they feel they never would have seen otherwise.
All of these guys have great attitudes, and they're all great football players. And they all understand what the purpose of playing football over here means. Talk to every one of them. They all have something to work on, and they're all highly motivated.
So the Dragons will kick it off now. They squib it, picked up by the short man at the 30-yard line, to the 35, to the 40, to the 45-yard line. So the Rhein Fire with 1 minute and 33 seconds left in a situation where they can do a little business.
Mike Salmon showing his skills.
Barcelona scoring drive, 9 plays, 56 yards, culminated by the 37-yard field goal by Zerity.
Well, let me tell you, kicking the 37-yard on this field is a big deal.
Yeah, it's not bad.
Because going in, Barcelona now knows that, you know, they need to kick a 30-yard field goal. He's the man.
Kelly straight back to pass on first down. He's got all day to throw. Throws caught by Boyd. First down into Dragon territory at the 41-yard line. Kelly right on the money today.
Seems like they're picking on Michael Wright, huh? And Michael Wright being the best cornerback for Barcelona. They better not pick on him too much, though.
Boyd goes to the far side, knocks to the near side, split backs behind Kelly. Kelly straight back again. Shorter drop this time, a 3-step drop, and he one-hops it. Intended for Jerome Davidson out of the backfield.
That was actually a good play.
Here's what the Fire did in its first 3 possessions. 70-yard drive for a touchdown the first time, 36-yard drive for a score the second time, and had an opportunity to put points up the third time, but missed a field goal.
Yeah, and earlier I'd said an 11-play drive, it was a 17-play drive.
Second down, 10, ball at the 42. 3-step drop again for Kelly, throws underneath this time, intended for Chamberlain, incomplete. So it'll be third down and 10.
I think the key right here is not to take a sack and definitely not to turn the ball over.
Coming the slot left, Boyd goes to the far side. Wood slots inside of Knox to the near side. Straight back goes Kelly to pass, throws, and it's intercepted. Right that time, read it perfectly, picked the ball, stepped out of bounds to the 32-yard line. Not a great pass by Kelly.
No, and I said earlier, he's picking on Michael Wright. I wouldn't pick on him too much. Steps up and makes a big play, and they have enough time to actually score some points. You see right here, he drops back. It's not a good throw, ball's wobbling. Good job by Michael Wright, understanding the situation and taking advantage of it.
Wobbly pass, as you saw by Kelly, and Michael Wright gets the pick. And 52 seconds, as you suggest, Troy, plenty of time.
Well, the two things that you didn't want to happen happened. You know, they turned the ball over, and Barcelona actually has pretty good field position.
What else you got? Speedy, and we got C option. We'll stay Beaver.
Here's Jack McDowell talking to his coaching staff. 3 wideouts right now in the ball game. On first down, straight back, Holcomb to pass, throws, and it's incomplete that time, intended for Alfonso Browning at about the 42-yard line. Defending was Donald Douglas.
Good play by Donald Douglas, but once again, using the wrong hand. Anytime you're a defensive back and you're going to the sidelines and you're trying to knock down a ball, you want to use your opposite hand. And of course, what's going to happen is during the season, I'm going to do it their way, and someone will point it out. Alfonso Browning, a former member of the San Francisco 49er, played on the Super Bowl team with me.
Yep, just got caught up in a numbers game in San Francisco, which is not hard to do. They slot Kenny Shedd this time. And straight back Holcomb again. Holcomb has to step up, does, throws, caught by Marvin Marshall, and Marshall fumbled. They'll call it an incomplete pass. Donald Douglas on the stop. Marshall had it in his hands and let it slip away.
Hey, good pass protection, good drop, step and throw. He has to hold on to the ball. That might have been a fumble.
Very close. Kelly Holcomb wanted that one.
He needed that one.
Talk about the fact Holcomb, big strong guy, missed only 1 game in 4 years as a starter at Middle Tennessee, played for Boots Donnelly down there.
I'm telling you, Kelly Holcomb looks like a quarterback.
Shedd in the slot once again. Holcomb deep drop this time, steps away, flag down. Holcomb hit as he throws and misses, intended for Marshall. And now we'll see about the flag.
Usually when the flag is dropped back there, it's holding. They'll punt the ball.
That is exactly the call.
Yeah, Alfonso, yeah, when you're a 6'2", 200-pound receiver, you can usually go stand over a DB like that. And those little guys need to look out.
Alfonso be headed for the Washington Redskins.
Holding, number Number 76, offense. That penalty is declined. 4th down.
Bradley, the guilty party on that particular play. Playing the wrong sport here. Wrestling would be great. Tommy Boyd will be the deep man to receive this punt, and a short kick that will take a Barcelona bounce and will go dead at about the 22-yard line with 24 seconds remaining in the half.
If I'm Rhein, I'd just take a knee and let the clock run out.
Rhein Fire leading by 10, played a pretty effective first half. Rains have stopped. Jack McDowell just trying to figure out what's happened to his team. This was a team that was on something of a roll.
But then again, you know, Barcelona is getting the ball back, so I guess there's, you know, no problem with throwing the ball up in the air and hoping for the Hail Mary. But this is not the Hail Mary formation. Maybe they're just trying to get down.
Kind of doubt that they will do that here. And they give to Davison, and Davison gets a little bit of room at the 25, at the 30-yard line, about the 31. Going to be a gain of almost 10 yards on the play, and now 10 seconds remaining, and I'm quite sure that they will not try to hurry things here. Mike Middleton and Michael Wright made the tackle, and with that, the first half is going to come to an end, and a very good first half for this team. The Rhein Fire jumped out quickly, scored in its first 2 possessions, and pretty much maintained order for the rest of the half. And a look at the scoreboard. At the end of the first 30 minutes of play, we said they had to get out of the blocks quickly, and they did just that. They lead it by 10.
Good afternoon, Mr. Binswanger. On Memorial Day, Subterranean Cables will broadcast 12 straight hours of the coolest spy show ever from the FX apartment. It's the FX Mission Impossible Marathon. 12 hours, 12 missions, 12 self-destructing messages. Your mission, lead viewers through this web of intrigue with IMFX channel hosts Mercedes and Jane. This promotion will self-destruct in 5 seconds. The FX Mission Impossible Marathon, Monday at 2/1 Central, only on FX. Sponsored by Coca-Cola.
So why did you leave AT&T?
I fell for the gimmicks.
I was just auditioning different companies.
And I thought, well, gosh, maybe I'll try it and just see.
And?
I'm disappointed. I miss AT&T.
AT&T misses you, too. So we're making it easy to come back.
Anything that makes my life easier, I'm for it.
How does up to 100 free AT&T minutes sound?
I like free minutes.
We'll send you AT&T long-distance certificates good for up to 100 free minutes, just for switching back to AT&T.
100 free minutes, I'm there.
There's more.
Keep hitting.
Only AT&T customers can get AT&T True Reach savings.
Whoa, what's that?
Well, spend $25 a month, and you save 25% to anyone, anytime, anywhere in the U.S.
I think it's right on the money.
And you're covered on every type of call on your AT&T phone bill. AT&T calling card calls, AT&T cellular long distance, collect calls you receive, even fax and modem calls. Pretty comprehensive, huh?
That's what I like about it.
Does it cost anything to sign up?
Nope, doesn't cost a thing.
Could you please be more enthusiastic?
All you have to do is call 1-800-GET-TRUE. So, have I convinced you yet?
I like what I see, but I kind of want to see more.
Yeah, I'd like to see what I'm saving.
I want something I can easily read, see where my savings are, and go, yes, I'm getting a good deal.
You got it. AT&T puts your savings right on your phone bill.
She could show it to me. She goes, look how much money I saved.
What more could you ask for?
How about this? You're backed by AT&T's world-class customer service 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
What have I got to do to come back to you guys?
Call that number to switch now, and you'll get up to 100 free AT&T minutes. So, what do you think?
I think it sounds great.
Just read 100 free minutes. That sounds wonderful. 25% across the board.
And I know that the service is there. Can't get any better than that.
Well,
I think we'll switch.
Good decision.
Thank you. You know what to do.
That's your true choice, AT&T.
Or 7 and just wasn't tall enough there. Harold just needed a bit of extra height.
These so-called little men of the WLAF may be small in stature, but are big in contributions and have caused a giant stir around the league, putting up numbers worthy of athletes of any size.
Well, I just think that being small, you have to play with a lot of heart, you know. It makes up for, you know, the height and weight or whatever. And if you don't have the heart and you're small, you can't play the game.
I mean, being a small back, I mean, I've been dealing with it since I've been playing football. But being a small back, you gotta make up in other places like strength and speed. So all the small backs and all the small people playing football, we're strong and we're fast. But that kickoff return, when I hit the corner, I knew I was going. I felt like they're not gonna catch me.
This league is a passing league, and I think what teams trying to do is take advantage of our skills. You know, we got good speed and also can go deep, and also have great hands. So what they trying to do is just make the game more exciting by high scores and just put the ball up in the air.
Harrell and other fellow undersized players have shown that if you're going to stop them, you got to catch them first. But there'll always be critics raising the question of durability and stamina.
I think we're all here just to kind of prove that small players can play the game of football. I think in the NFL there's a misconception these days that small receivers can't play. You have your Michael Irvins, Jerry Rice, and Herman Moores, but people like me and Gary can still do just as much as they can, even though of our size, and all this is a stepping stone to just prove that we can play football just as well as anybody can.
These short people have no reason to worry, but do have a reason to play this game, and they try to share it with others.
Just try to focus on what you want to do. You know, set goals for yourself and try and reach those goals. Height and size doesn't mean anything when you have a goal to reach, you know, and it's something that you really want in life. And this is what I wanted, and I'm here right now.
Environmental pollution, ultraviolet rays, acid rain. They'll destroy your car if you let them. You could rub and rub and rub, and it still won't help. But this will. Introducing Autofoam with Formula A, created by Blue Coral, one of the most respected names in the car care industry since 1927. Formula A is the ultimate transparent non-stick barrier, and only Autofoam has it. Look, the tablet on the right is coated with Formula A. Water just can't penetrate. And how about extreme heat? It's no match for Autofoam. Even this acid can't break its protective barrier. So how much did you pay for your car? Why not take care of it with Autofoam by Blue Coral? It's so easy to use you can't make a mistake, and it can last a year before you need to reapply. It's the #1 selling premium automotive sealant. Bring out the shine in no time with Autofoam by Blue Coral. Look, Autofoam fills in nicks and scratches in your car's finish, providing a high gloss shine that protects against environmental pollution, ultraviolet rays, even acid rain. Autofoam outprotects and outshines all other leading car waxes and polishes. But wait, there's also Autofoam Ultra Car Wash. It actually forms a protective layer of Formula A every time you wash. And that's not all. Introducing Autofoam Ultra Wheel Care. Remove brake dust, grease, and stains on contact. Spray it on, hose it off, and leave a protective layer of Formula A, all from the same bottle. So call today and get Autofoam Liquid Sealant, Autofoam Ultra Car Wash, and Autofoam Ultra Wheel Care, all with exclusive patented Formula A. Now just $19.95. Guaranteed to work or your money back. Bring out the shine in no time with Autofoam by Blue Coral.
Have your credit card ready and call 1-800-540-0404. That's 1-800-540-0404. Or send $19.95 plus $5.95 shipping to Autofoam, P.O. Box 2978, Framingham, Massachusetts. For faster delivery, call now 1-800-540-0404.
He represented everything that was bad about college football athletics. The star quarterback at the University of Oklahoma could do no wrong on the field. As for his off-field activities, his grades and drug tests were all fixed. But that all came to a crashing halt in February of 1989. Charles Thompson was arrested for selling cocaine. He spent 17 months at a federal prison analyzing and rationalizing exactly what went wrong.
As a young teenager, I was caught up in the fast life of Oklahoma football, the success we were having on the field, and the success that I was enduring personally as far as being the quarterback, taking over the job for Jamel Holloway. I think at that time, maybe perhaps I wasn't ready for that type of big glamorous life. You know, at that time, I was young, and of course, led to me making a terrible mistake in my life. But it's something that I've gotten over, and I've learned to deal with it. That it's the past, and I've learned from that mistake.
Now in his second season as a running back with the Barcelona Dragons, Charles Thompson is in the fast lane again. but this time only on the football field.
Playing here in Spain has done one of two things for me. I think it has given me the confidence to know that I do have the ability to play on the professional level and play with the NFL caliber players. I think it has also given me the opportunity to learn more about the game, that maybe someday I may be a coach, maybe, you know, to be able to know that I can overcome adversities in life and know that I can deal with the ups and downs of life. So I think as a person, being here in Spain, playing in the World Football League and having NFL teams even consider Charles Thompson as an athlete is a triumph in itself.
Charles doesn't live for the moment anymore. He plans for the future on and off the field.
I'm committed to succeeding not only on the football field but in life. I think that it's important to me to be able to, when I do finish playing football, to know that I gave it all that I had to give, that I tried to take advantage of every opportunity that I was able to take advantage of. I made a mistake as a young adult, and hopefully people will realize that and hopefully give me a second chance to succeed on the football field as well as life. Maybe perhaps that may never happen. Maybe the window of opportunity is gone for Charles Thompson, but I will say that Charles Thompson won't keep fighting, won't keep trying to earn and reach for that goal.
And now AT&T presents the Play of the Week. Looking for a rebound victory after its devastating loss to Scotland, the 4-1 Frankfurt Galaxy traveled to Wembley Stadium to take on the struggling 1-4 London Monarchs. The Monarchs made it clear that they were ready for battle, dominated the Galaxy on both sides of the football. Late in the second quarter, running back Tony Vincent broke loose with a 45-yard touchdown run, building the Monarchs' lead to 20 points, giving London their first home victory this season. AT&T salutes Tony Vincent and his Play of the Week.
They're still back there.
Don't worry, love. You're riding in the world's first sport utility wagon.
I am.
That's right. This here's the all-wheel drive Subaru Outback.
That's great.
You know, it's got more cargo space than a passport.
Uh-huh.
The ground clearance of an Explorer.
Yeah, but...
Oh, did I mention, it gets much better gas mileage than a Jeep Cherokee.
Outback, you say?
Subaru Outback. The world's first sport utility wagon.
America's #1 secret agent is back in the saddle. Now, the attractions are more fatal. The weapons...
That's a very powerful flamethrower.
...are more lethal. But for this top gun, no mission is impossible.
Next stop, Melrose, I think.
Leslie Nielsen is the mother of all secret agents. Spy Hard. Rated PG-13. Now playing at a theater near you.
10 mortars, 6 light machine guns.
This Memorial Day, skip all those sales and tune in to FX for the Mission Impossible Marathon.
Monday, only on FX.
Every town has its share of conflict.
I'm a transsexual.
Well, my daughter's in his class.
Every town has its share of tragedies.
Is he going to die?
Dear God in heaven, and through all the struggles,
I don't even know who you are anymore.
every family must find a way to triumph.
The good in this world still outweighs the evil.
The people, the problems, the solutions. Take a look beyond the picket fences. Weekends at 7/6 Central on FX.
You're born, you live, you die. Along the way, you meet a lot of people. Most of them you just lose track of, but some you'd actually like to see again. That's why there's Lost and Found. Reuniting people who've lost track of each other.
Do we look the same?
From New York to Vegas to Paris, France. FX, TV with you in mind. Hooking up the planet one reunion at a time. Lost and Found, weekends at 8/7 Central, only on FX.
Barry Tompkins with Toy Cook. We welcome you back to Rhein Stadium here in Dusseldorf, Germany, where the home team doing a pretty darn good job. They lead at 13-3. And Toy, it isn't often that a team will do exactly what we talked about with them prior to the game, and that's what they did. They got out quickly. Derek Clark leading the drive and winding up with a touchdown on a 2-yard run, and they didn't stop after that.
You know, they did a good job. They executed exactly how they wanted to. Galen Hall said they wanted to spread them out, run the ball, hit short, quick passes. Here, Michael Wright's in great position. Kevin Knox decides that he wants to go up and get the ball, makes a great catch, gets in, both feet in, for the score.
Andy Kelly, of course, playing with the flu, just getting over it, not at 100% through the perfect fade that time, and Knox just went up and got it. Just that simple. Take a look at the numbers at the end of the first 30 minutes of play, and it must be said Barcelona started to get back into this game along about the middle of the second period, but still the Rhein Fire with all the numbers. 151 in total offense, 90 yards passing, 61 yards rushing, 86 yards of total offense for the Barcelona Dragons. And of course the time of possession, huge for the Rhein Fire. Take a look at the tight end comparison. We talked about how important tight ends are, not only in both these offenses, but in fact throughout the league. Chamberlain with 4 catches. He made some tough catches because remember, he drew a crowd every time he went out into the pattern. 4 for 35 yards, an 8.5-yard average. Davis caught just 1 for 2 yards as we start the second half. Thompson is the deep man, runs up, takes the 24-yard line. It's not Thompson, actually. This is Kenny Shedd, and Shedd breaks a tackle, gets the 40, gets the 45, gets to midfield, and into Rhein Fire territory at the 48-yard line. Kenny Shedd, remember, returned 7 punts for touchdowns while he was in college.
An NC Division 1A AA record. And this is the type of start that you want if you're Barcelona. You know, Kenny Shedd gets the ball, breaks outside. If the field wasn't a little wet, he might have got around the corner. But if you're Barcelona, getting a chance to start at the 50 after playing the way you did in the first half, you got to be feeling pretty good.
Well, they got perfect field position to start things here in the second half. One quote, which I'll tell you about after this play, as Holcomb leads his team to the line of scrimmage. Thompson, the lone setback. And Holcomb straight back to pass. Steps up, throwing deep on first down.
Nice.
And dropped. The interception was right there.
Alfonso Browning had him by a yard. Great play.
Donald Douglas had it in his hands and should have made the pick.
Good job, Alfonso. He's up the field. Poorly underthrown ball. Earlier in the game, Michael Wright was in the same position and didn't get his head around in time, even though I thought it was a poor call. Good job by the defensive back, Glass.
We told you about the fact that the Rhein Fire had all the numbers in the first half. Well, last week in a 48-14 loss, as Holcomb goes back to pass again, in trouble this time. Now he steps up, flag down. We're going to get a hold.
Yeah, I saw that holding call earlier.
It's dropped at the 40-yard line. They'll probably take the play. But last week, Barcelona had all the numbers, despite the fact that they lost the game 48-14 to Amsterdam. And Jack, when we talked about that earlier this week, said stats are for losers.
There we go. There we go. There we go.
Yeah, especially when you have all the stats and you do lose. That's true. Right now, Rhein has all the stats and they're winning.
Number 76 offense. That penalty has declined. 3rd down.
Rhein Fire getting a very good push, and that's been one of the differences in this ball game.
Now, wasn't it Jack McNeil that said that they were having trouble with the stunts?
Yeah, having all kinds of problems with it, and that, of course, is what Rhein Fire is giving to them. 3rd down and 18. Beg your pardon. Yes, 3rd and 18. Almost couldn't add that high. Straight back goes Holcomb again to pass. Has to roll away from pressure once again and throws to nobody. And a late flag goes down again.
Another holding call. I think it was on the same stunt.
I think they might call roughing the passer here. Let's see.
I think it was the right call.
Roughing the passer is the call.
Nice call, Barry. Always trying to protect those quarterbacks.
I think he hit him after he had him down. Got him down, but...
Personal foul. Roughing the passer. Number 91 defense. Automatic 1st down. 15 yards.
That's a very tough call against Galen Hall and the Rhein Fire. Oh, yeah. I'd say that was clearly clean. Ricky Andrews was the guilty party.
Come on, Rick. You're smarter than that.
That's what I was thinking, Gabe. And thank you for saying it for me.
Ricky Andrews has been around the track. He's 30 years old. One of the oldest players on this Rhein Fire roster. Here are the numbers on Holcomb, and a little bit misleading. He did not have what you would consider to be a very good first half, and he's been under siege here in the second half. 1st down at the 45, given a draw to Thompson. And Thompson might have gotten a yard, not much more than that.
Met by Percy Snow. Nice job of filling the hole. Percy Snow and driving Charles Thompson back.
First time we've called that name today, too. Percy Snow, of course, former #1 draft choice out of Michigan State. Got himself in a very serious motorcycle accident, and that very likely curtailed a promising career.
But you know what? One of the things about Percy Snow that I really liked was his attitude and his determination to get back and to show everyone that he's ready to play.
2nd down and 9. Again, a single setback, and again, Holcomb back to pass. A lot of time this time, and he throws. Coming across the middle that time and making the grab was Demetrius Davis.
Percy Snow on a tackle. Percy Snow on another tackle. And it was a great hit, actually. One of the things that Percy Snow had talked about yesterday was working on his drops. Good job of shading the tight end and then getting over and getting a nice hit on Alfonso Browning. And I believe if Alfonso wasn't 200 pounds, he'd still be on the ground.
Well, it was a 1st down. I believe Demetrius Davis was the receiver on the play. 1st down at the 31-yard line, and now we're going to get another penalty. And either one of the Rhein Fire stepped across or was drawn across. We'll see. I think they're going to say this is both players pointing, as is usually the case in a situation like this. So let's just wait.
Ball start prior to the snap. Number 62. 5-yard penalty. Repeat 1st down.
You know, both coaches yesterday said that they wanted to cut down on their mistakes. And in the 1st half, or actually in the 2nd half, we've already had a couple plays. One to help Barcelona sustain a drive, and another one to knock them back to 1st and 15, which is not what you want when you're entering the red zone.
New team record, as you see, by Kelly Holcomb. Meantime, looking at a 1st down and 15. A throw over the middle, caught this time to about the 30-yard line, maybe the 29, as Bryce Burnett makes his 2nd reception of the day, and Mike Salmon comes up to whack him.
I think you'll see Bryce Burnett entering the left side of your screen on the crossing route. You know, these have been big routes for the tight ends all day. Here comes Percy on the blitz. Good job.
Thompson knocked
Good job by Charles Thompson to come up there and stick his face in his chest.
They go slot right this time on 2nd down and about 7. Blitz comes again. Holcomb has to unload. Does. Good pass that time. Caught by Kenny Shedd, and Shedd will be about a yard short of the 1st down. Holcomb with a good read, saw the blitz coming that whole time.
Got rid of it. And you know what's really funny is Galen Hall yesterday said that usually when teams enter the red zone, he's expecting a blitz, and on the last 2 or 3 plays, he's blitzed. Nice tackle by Jamal Ellis.
Taking a good look at Sam Alalampi. Out of Helsinki, Finland, played for the East City Giants. And he comes to the near side, and they give us to Thompson, and Thompson will get the 1st down.
Tackled by James Roberson. Right now they're trying to figure out, should they go for it? And I think with the way they've been kicking the ball, they need to.
Looked like Thompson had enough to make it, but apparently did not. A little bit quick to give him that 1st down.
They're going to measure.
You know, it's interesting. There's only a crowd here, I'd say, of about 12, 13,000 maybe, but when you and I walked out at halftime, it's loud out there.
It is very, very loud. They said that these were the best fans, and I believe it. They come to this game to party, which is what you're supposed to do.
It's about a half-yard short. It will be 4th down.
They got their chants. They have their flags. They're throwing stuff. I think it's all that beer drinking they were doing outside.
They got it all going, I'll tell you that. Whistles blow here. We're going to get a timeout called by the Rhein Fire, so the Rhein Fire will burn its 1st time out in the 2nd half on a defensive series. And we'll take a timeout as well with 10 minutes 30 seconds remaining in the third quarter. It's a 13-3 ball game. 4th down and short coming up.
Look, you have got to go to Office Depot and see for yourself. Office Depot has the best selection.
I buzz in, I get what I want, and I'm gone.
Either call or fax your order in. You can have delivery the very next day. Office Depot has a great catalog with everything from A to Z. Office Depot, the best.
Office Depot, taking care of business for companies of every size, everywhere, every day.
Hey, is that thing on in there? All right, you ready for some real action? Let's go, Jimmy!
The World League of American Football. There's nothing else like it. Now, official World League products are available in the U.S. only through this exclusive offer. Call 1-800-635-4438 to own the colors of the London Monarchs, Scottish Claymores, Amsterdam Admirals, Frankfurt Galaxy, Rhein Fire, and the Barcelona Dragons. Replica jerseys in official team colors only $39.99. T-shirts only $14.99. World League football $69.99. And assorted team hats only $14.99. Remember, all teams are available. So call 1-800-635-4438. This is your only opportunity to buy official World League products. Don't miss it. Call now with your credit card order or write to the address on your screen. Refer to source number 001747 on all orders.
That isn't the last one, is it?
Yeah, why?
Did I mention that I found the negatives from your bachelor party?
Be a shame if Carla found out about that whole Niagara thing.
Can you say cubic zirconia?
For the great taste that won't fill you up and never lets you down, make it a Bud Light.
Room service.
Mayo, sandwich?
No, wood stain on coffee table.
Learn the secrets of home repair on Fix It. Weekdays only on FX.
Fourth down, less than a yard. You're looking at Jack McNell. We heard him talking to his quarterback, Kelly Holcomb. And Jack's going to go with a quarterback sneak, but he emphasized the word wedge. Get in behind the wedge, whatever you do. Remember, he's only got one running back. Charles Thompson is it. They go with a one-back set, and Terry Wilburn, the backup, is already hurt. There's the wedge. He did get in behind it, and a good line charge, and he'll have the first down by plenty inside the 20-yard line.
Yeah, I think if you're the Rhein Fire and you only see one back there, I know as a defensive player, whenever I see one back and it's a short yardage situation, you got to expect this quarterback sneak.
Take another look at it. They just got off the ball quickly. That's the bottom line.
Yeah, a lot of times, a lot of offenses, and what happens when they get stuffed is the quarterback gets up there and waits for a long time. But one of the good things the 49ers do, and Steve Young, is as soon as he puts his hand under the center, he takes off.
Ball at the 20-yard line now. Marshall to the far side. Alalampi to the near side. Thompson alone setback. Straight back Holcomb. Blitz comes. Holcomb unloads. And it's almost caught at the 10-yard line. But Holcomb had to throw the ball a little bit sooner than he wanted to. He had Demetrius Davis at the 10. Percy Snow coming on the blitz.
Providing the heat.
And Jason Carthen was there as well.
They're expecting the blitz. Notice, did you see Byron Chamberlain pointing, which is called hot? He just couldn't get the ball to him quick enough.
Offsides, number 98, defense.
And that's why.
Yep, that'll account for it.
5-yard penalty, still first down.
Yeah, whenever you see a receiver point to a defensive back or a linebacker, that means they're looking at him as the guy that's going to rush, and they call that a hot play. And when they say a hot and point, the quarterback, it's up to him to get rid of the ball because he's not counted for.
But does that also mean then the receiver has to run a little bit shorter route?
He has to run a little bit. And it looked like Byron went a little deep.
So the offside penalty makes it 1st and 5. The ball at the 15-yard line. And they give on a drop play to Thompson. Got a little room at the 15, outside of the 10-yard line, to about the 6-yard line. Charles Thompson waiting very nicely for his blocking that time.
Yeah, that was a nice run by Charles Thompson and a missed tackle by Douglas. I think he has to, as a strong safety, he has to come up and make that play for a 5-yard gain. I think you'll see right here. He goes back, hands the ball off to Charles Thompson, makes a nice cut, gets outside. Now watch, right here, Douglas has to make the tackle right there, but he misses.
Jason Carthen finally comes up, puts the stop on, but not till he got to the 6-yard line. First down and goal now for the Dragons. We're in the midst of a pretty good drive. Got a little help from the Rhein Fire, too, in this drive. Holcomb gives to Thompson. Thompson gets to about the 3-yard line.
Get him fired up out there now. Come on.
It's Jack McNeil talking to his quarterback, Kelly Holcomb.
Boom, go jumbo left. Wide left. Get them. Ride left. Get the motion a little quicker. Ride left.
Able to listen to the coaches, something you cannot do on football Sundays back home.
I know, and as a defensive player, that's disturbing.
Kent comes in motion this time on 2nd and goal, and they give it to Thompson again, and Thompson is fumbled the ball, and I think the Fire may have it. He got in, the ball didn't. And now let's see. Still no official signal. The Rhein Fire thinks they have the ball. The Dragons think they have a touchdown. If he fumbled it after he crossed the plane to the goal line, it's a touchdown.
I don't know if I don't think that he made it.
There has been no signal. Here's a look.
Nice tackle by Mike Salmon. Pops the ball out. I don't think he scored.
Well, the question was, he got across. Did the ball get across? And the discussion goes on, and let's see. There's still no official signal. Both teams think they're on the side of right.
That was a big league play by Mike Salmon. Barcelona's going in to score.
Come on.
So it's touchdown or not? What the heck is going on?
Officials.
The ruling on the field is a touchdown.
Well, there you are.
Exactly.
So the question here is, if Thompson got across the goal, which Thompson did get across the goal, the question was, did he have possession of the ball when he crossed the plane of the goal line? And the official answer was, yes, he did. Touchdown, Barcelona.
Well, you know me, Barry. I always stick with the defensive players. I think that was a fumble. If anything, they should have gave it to the Rhein, because it was a great play by Mike Salmon.
So the try for point now after all of that excitement. It's snapped, it's placed, it's kicked, and it is good. Not by much, mind you, but it was good. And the Barcelona Dragons, with benefit of the official call, Charles Thompson said, no problem, I had it all the way. 13-10, the Rhein Fire on top of Barcelona, but Barcelona right now is starting to get Mo a little bit on its side. We'll be back.
So why did you leave AT&T?
I fell for the gimmicks.
I was just auditioning different companies.
And I thought, well, gosh, maybe I'll try it and just see.
And?
I'm disappointed. I miss AT&T.
AT&T misses you, too. So we're making it easy to come back.
Anything that makes my life easier, I'm for it.
How does up to 100 free AT&T minutes sound?
I like free minutes.
We'll send you AT&T long-distance certificates good for up to 100 free minutes.
Just for switching back to AT&T.
100 free minutes, I'm there.
There's more.
Keep hitting.
Only AT&T customers can get AT&T True Reach savings.
Whoa, what's that?
Well, spend $25 a month and you save 25% to anyone, anytime, anywhere in the U.S.
I think it's right on the money.
And you're covered on every type of call on your AT&T phone bill. AT&T calling card calls, AT&T cellular long distance, collect calls you receive, even fax and modem calls. Pretty comprehensive, huh?
That's what I like about it.
Does it cost anything to sign up?
Nope, doesn't cost a thing.
Could you please be more enthusiastic?
All you have to do is call 1-800-GET-TRUE. So, have I convinced you yet?
I like what I see, but I kind of want to see more.
Yeah, I'd like to see what I'm saving.
I want something that I can easily read, see where my savings are, and go, yes, I'm getting a good deal.
You got it. AT&T puts your savings right on your phone bill.
She could show it to me. She goes, look how much money I saved.
What more could you ask for?
How about this? You're backed by AT&T's world-class customer service 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
What have I got to do to come back to you guys?
Call that number to switch now, and you'll get up to 100 free AT&T minutes. So, what do you think?
I think it sounds great.
Especially with 100 free minutes, that sounds wonderful.
25% across the board.
And I know that the service is there. Can't get any better than that.
Well,
I think we'll switch.
Good decision.
Thank you.
You know what to do.
It's all within your reach.
That's your true choice, AT&T.
I said earlier that I thought Mike Salmon made a great play and caused a fumble, and I think on this replay you'll be able to see it. Charles Thompson gets the ball, he cuts up inside, but look where the ball is when he gets hit. Pow, right there. At the right side of your screen, you can see the ball out, not even close. And earlier, just before the half, before we went to commercial, you saw Charles Thompson raising his eyes knowing that he got away with one.
Once again, you defensive guys are right. That's a tough call, however, in defense of the officials. Bodies flying everywhere in there, and it was extremely close.
Well, I'm just happy that they're bringing back instant replay in the NFL for that reason alone.
Yeah, that play would certainly prove it. This is Woods fumbling the kickoff, and it's going to be whistled dead at the 15-yard line. So Manly Woods just unable to hold on to it.
Well, it'll be interesting to see how the Rhein Fire react, or respond to that drive. And I think they all know that that was not a touchdown. It's a close game. They had control of this game. This is a very important drive for them.
And right now, you really have the feeling this game is there for the taking for either one of these teams.
Somebody fucking knocked the shit out of him.
Salmon. I hate to answer that question, but it is cable television, and I think it was him.
Yeah, it just goes to tell you that some guys close their eyes when they go to make that tackle. But it's still a good hit. Good play.
Tim Salmon, I think, is going to play at the next level. I really do. Give this time to Davison. Davison gets right back to the line of scrimmage. No better than that.
I think you're thinking about his brother.
Salmon, of course, brother of Tim Salmon, who does a little baseball playing with the California Angels. We were talking to him yesterday about how he keeps up with his brother. He said, I run down, grab the USA Today International Edition every morning. Numbers on Andy Kelly, and a high percentage of completions. Had the 1 pick. 2nd down and 10 passing situation once again. Play fake. Kelly rolls right, throws underneath this time for Davison, and nothing doing. Davison got about 2.
That's been a good play for the Rhein Fire, and they went back to it. They weren't successful in that play because Richardson couldn't get up the field. But in a key situation, if I was Barcelona, I'd look for that play.
And it was Terry Richardson and not Jerome Davison. Let's look at Steve Hoya. Played his ball at a place called Stanford. You're familiar with that, aren't you?
That's right. He's a great player. Just begun by going to Stanford.
3rd down now and 8. Big play upcoming here.
Crossing route.
Straight back to pass. Waits for the crossing route. Now in trouble. Kelly down back at the 8-yard line.
You're the Rhein Fire.
Sack of the day that time as Vince Stewart was the man who made the play.
Barcelona's showing a little life right now.
Mike Blitz, I think.
I was going to say big defensive sequence coming off the touchdown by the Dragons.
And it didn't help that Manly Woods dropping the kickoff at the 20-yard line.
So ostensibly, Barcelona will have good field position. Marvin Marshall, a fumble in the end zone. He knocks it out of the back of the end zone. That'll be a safety.
Smart play.
So 2 more. Hey, let's go. And they will have the ball. Safeties inevitably come back to bite you. It'll make it a 13-12 ball game. And the Dragons will have the ball off a free kick. We've had a couple of horrendous snaps.
Yeah, that's from Joe Garton, I believe. Special teams.
Well, remember, these teams do not have a special teams coach. It is just one of the assistant coaches who are assigned to the special teams. But just because of personnel, you just don't have the manpower, don't have the bodies to work as much on special teams, of course, as they do at the next level.
And right now, I'd have to say that the tide is changing. What you need from the Rhein defense is a big play. Percy Snow making a hit. Salmon getting an interception. Someone needs to make a play to stop the bleeding. The Rhein fans are still in it.
Very much so. You really can't believe how loud it is in here. Despite the fact that there's less than a capacity crowd. One of the reasons there's not a capacity crowd, the German National Soccer Championships are being held. They started about an hour before this game.
They still have a good turnout. And these fans, like I said, were outside before the game, partying like NFL fans.
Pretty good kick this
nice
time.
one.
And this is headed to Marshall. Marshall handles it at the 25. Now starts back to 30. He's got some room. He's the 35 to 40 and out of bounds the 43-yard line. Matt Gay was the man who made the stop. Just a reminder to watch more FX coverage of the World League of American Football tomorrow, and then again on Monday. It's a holiday on Monday in England. On Sunday at 10 o'clock Eastern, 11 Central, the Frankfurt Galaxy head to the Highlands. They'll take on the World Bowl-bound Scottish Claymores. Then on Monday, it'll be the Amsterdam Admirals against the London Monarchs in London, right here on FX Sports. Well, excellent field position for the Dragons as they come to the line of scrimmage to start. At the 43-yard line, it is now a one-point ball game. Holcomb straight back to pass on first down. Throws caught by Boyd. Rather Marshall, I beg your pardon, at the 44-yard line. Holcomb with plenty of time, put it right on the money for Marvin Marshall.
Kenny Shedd, one of their top receivers. They're having to have him back because he can stretch the defense, what they were talking about yesterday. This is just a hook pattern. This is a basic pattern you see all the time. Drag the tight end across, have the receiver run a hook. Kelly Holcomb got back, made a great throw.
And I do apologize. I called it Marvin Marshall. It was Kenny Shedd on the reception. Numbers on these World Football League uniforms are very difficult to pick up. Here's a give to Charles Thompson, and Thompson got about a yard, maybe two.
Nice tackle by Percy Snow coming off the end and feeling like he's supposed to.
Percy Snow being very active here in the second half.
And this is what made Percy Snow a first-round pick with the Kansas City Chiefs. His ability to come and go sideline to sideline.
Marshall goes to the far side and Shedd to the near side. And Holcomb on a nice fake rolls left on the boot, throws it complete this time to his tight end. And a fine catch that time by Jeremy Burkett.
That's an interesting play, especially with all the heat that they've been getting. You wouldn't think they would want to go through with all this fake. That's a fullback to the flat. The Niners made that famous with Tom Rathman and Roger Craig. And all they do with Burkett is put him in the backfield as an H-back to do the same thing.
Three talented big receivers, Demetrius Davis, Bryce Burnett, and Jeremy Burkett. And they move them all over the place. You can see the difference. Since the first quarter, Barcelona really started to take command here, but they still trail by a point. Holcomb steps up, throws, caught this time by Davis. Down to the 23-yard, caught by Burnett, I beg your pardon, down to the 23-yard line. Holcomb might have taken a little shot to the throat.
I believe the tide has changed in the second half. Look at Burkett, comes up the field untouched, wide open. He was in man-to-man coverage. It seemed like, I don't understand why Dale Douglas was playing, Douglas was playing outside, but he was open, caught the ball, got the first down.
So another first down, and straight back goes Holcomb again. Throws over the middle. The man was open, and he fell down. Unable to hang on, Demetrius Davis. He just got himself turned around. That was going to be a touchdown.
And the way the defensive backs were looking at each other, it looks like it might have been a blown coverage.
Davis goes back, has a little discussion with Holcomb, said, I was there. Where were you?
Let's look at Mike Salmon. He'll give us a read. Oh. Mike Salmon left the field. See, a little frustration on Mike Salmon's part. He's supposed to be in the middle of the field. He jumped that crossing route, and good read by Holcomb.
They show blitz once again. They don't come with it, however, and they give on a draw play to Thompson. Thompson at the 20, down the 15-yard line. A little short of the 15 at about the 16. It's going to bring about a third down and a long two.
Tackled by Anthony Fieldings. We haven't called his name since early in the game. But right now, Barcelona, things are going their way. And it all started with that blown call in the end zone. They took advantage of it. Give them credit, though.
Well, they didn't give Charles Thompson much forward progress, and it's going to really be third down and a little more than 3 yards. So a big play upcoming right here. 2 tight ends, 2 wide out, single setback. They give it to Thompson again, and Thompson's going to be close to the first down. I think he's going to have it at about the 13-yard line. They're getting a pretty good line charge right now, too.
Yeah, they are. They're playing fire. They're fired up, moving the defensive line of the Rhein. They're determined to turn this game around. One of the things that's interesting is the last 2 times they've had 3rd and short, they passed the ball. This time they line up in what we call an ace, which is 2 tight ends, 2 receivers, and 1 back.
Well, that's once again not what you would call a generous spot. Good blocking up front, though.
Yeah, Charles Thompson is not getting hit until 3 yards after he's by the line of scrimmage.
Tom Robsock, you saw, put a pretty good block on. He's an allocated player by the Raiders. And it is going to be enough for a first down.
Look at those guys. They got mud all over them. This is the kind of game that Matt Millen and John Madden, all those guys would love to be at.
Thompson now 12 for 13 rushes, 57 yards, and the 1 touchdown, but was it?
Mud on the field. Guys sweating.
Perfect. Give it to Thompson again. Thompson stutter steps, gets inside the 10. Darrell Clark, who we have not seen since the first quarter, remember he left with what appeared to be an ankle injury, and that is the report. Sprained ankle will not return.
Yeah, no, I told you earlier, whenever you see a guy sitting up there with both his feet out and he has on his jacket like that, it usually means he's not coming back in the game.
And the Dragons, as you see, when they get somebody over 50 yards rushing, this is a team that lives and dies by the pass, and already Thompson over the 50-yard mark. Play fake, Holcomb rolling under pressure, throws in. Oh! And coming out of the end zone with the interception is Jamal Ellis, and Ellis gets it back to the 17-yard line, and a big turnaround. Pressure coming from Dunston Anderson, and really it was Anderson that made the play.
He made the play, earlier in the game, when we talked to Galen Hall yesterday, they purposely put in Dunston Anderson to get pressure because they felt like Stacey Evans wasn't getting the job done. You saw right there, he came around the corner, put the pressure on. Jamal Ellis makes a big play.
Jack McDowell can only rub his head and say what would have been, could have been, and probably should have been. His team trails by 1, 13-12, Rhein.
The sun's up at Bay Hill, and what a lovely day for a drive. But don't forget to keep your head down, because Bay Hill is Arnold Palmer's place, and the rough edges are there by design. So who helps the business end of this legendary club run smoothly? Office Depot.
Taking care of business.
Office Depot guarantees low prices and 100% satisfaction. Because when you're responsible for the big picture, even small details are important.
Taking care of business.
Hi, I'm Emmett, and I'm a cowboy. This is my hat. These are my boots. These are my horses. This is where they graze. And this is my ranch. No matter whose brand is on the front gate. This is my territory. This is my zone. This is my planet.
Lost and Found, hooking up the planet one reunion at a time. Because all the people we've cared for in the past don't have to stay there. Lost and Found, weekends at 8, 7 Central, only on FX.
Get set for World League action on FX. Tomorrow, the Frankfurt Galaxy take on the Scotland Claymores. Then Monday, the Amsterdam Admirals meet the London Monarchs in a special Memorial Day game. Tomorrow and Monday at 10 a.m. 9 Central on FX.
Hey there, I am FX agent Jeff Probst with agent Jane Cinnamon Fergus.
This weekend, Backchat celebrates the Memorial Day FX Mission Impossible Marathon with Mission Backchat.
One entire Backchat dedicated to the coolest spy show ever with our guest, IMF guru Peter Graves here, right here, in IMFX Central.
Forget about standing in that long line for the movie.
Catch the original. Did I mention Peter Graves is going to be here?
Mission Backchat. Tomorrow at 4, 3 Central, only on FX.
Heck, the entire show could self-destruct at any second.
On Friday's Personal FX, we learned that salesman samples can be worth more than the real thing. John, what's coming up on Monday?
On Monday, we've got a Mission Impossible Marathon, and on Tuesday, we're going to show you a super collection of pencils from Peoria, Illinois on Personal FX.
Here's a man who made the play, Jamal Ellis. 49 ticks left in the third quarter. It's a one-point game. The Rhein Fire clinging to the lead over Barcelona. Huge interception in the end zone. We'll show it to you again in just a moment as the Fire comes to the line of scrimmage. Kelly all the way at quarterback despite being sick. Give it to Davison on first down. He's stopped for a loss of a yard. Well, so much of the game of football is timing, and in this case, Kelly Holcomb, I think, Toy, held on to the ball just a tick too long.
Just a little bit too long. This play's been working all day for him. He had him open before, remember? They probably talked about it, but they forgot Jamal Ellis was listening. Knew he was coming, got the ball, got up the field, huge play. And you got to feel good for Rhein because they, Barcelona got a touchdown that they didn't deserve. So there are, sometimes the defensive back, you think there is a guy up there.
No gain on first down. Second down and 10 now. 14 seconds remaining. Kelly straight back to pass. Throws wide open this time out of the backfield. Is Davison out of bounds.
And let me say,
a 24-yard line.
A football guy. There's a guy up there. A football guy.
That's right. Going to get a penalty here. That's going to go against Kevin O'Brien, I believe, the linebacker, number 91 of the Dragons. And let's see what they'll do here. They very likely will take the penalty, I believe. It'll give them a first down.
Holding, number 91, defense. 5-yard penalty, automatic first down.
Well, they stopped Chamberlain.
Hey, that's one way to do it. But if you do it that way, you're going to get a penalty. I think it's better just to move your feet and use your hands. That's what his coach is going to tell him. We haven't seen too many double coverage.
No, they had told us they were going to double cover Chamberlain all day long, and they have not done that too much.
And what did Galen say? That's what Chamberlain.
Yeah, that's true.
That's the end of the third quarter.
Well, we come to the end of the third quarter with that play. It's just interesting because there were 6 seconds left on the clock when he went out of bounds. 13-12, 15 minutes of football left.
All over the world. Turns out we're part of the biggest event during the summer games, the beer run. The Bud World Party continues, round the clock, around the world.
I knew Advil was good, but this good? I was just in the dentist chair. Big time pain. What does my doctor recommend? Not the prescription pain reliever you'd expect, but Advil. Come on, Doc. Advil works better than a prescription. It did. Advil's that good.
On tough dental pain, 2 Advil work better than any 2 extra-strength Tylenol. Even better than 2 tablets of Tylenol with codeine.
Advil just works better.
Advil, advanced medicine for pain.
When Irish Spring asked the town of Keneally if it could borrow the scent of its waterfall for Waterfall Clean, the folks were happy to oblige.
With its refreshing scent and antibacterial protection, Waterfall Clean leaves you feeling as clean and sparkling as the waterfall itself.
One small problem.
What's that?
They want their picture on the box.
Irish Spring Waterfall Clean. It's fresh, it's blue.
And you like it too.
Good afternoon, Mr. Binswanger. On Memorial Day, Subterranean Cables will broadcast 12 straight hours of the coolest spy show ever from the FX apartment. It's the FX Mission Impossible Marathon. 12 hours, 12 missions, 12 self-destructing messages. Your mission, lead viewers through this web of intrigue with IMFX channel hosts Mercedes and Jane. This promotion will self-destruct in 5 seconds. The FX Mission Impossible Marathon, Monday at 2/1 Central, only on FX. Sponsored by Nestle 100 Grand.
Today's game has been brought to you by Bud Light, official sponsor of the 1996 Summer Olympic Games. Make it a Bud Light. And by Advil, advanced medicine for pain. And by AT&T, official sponsor of the 1996 U.S. Olympic team.
Stadium here in Dusseldorf, Germany, are looking at the Rhein Fire as they continue to cling to a 1-point lead. Number 27 right there, Jamal Ellis, the man who made the biggest defensive play of the evening for the Rhein Fire, intercepting a Kelly Holcomb pass in the end zone that would have given the Dragons the lead.
You saw that steam on his head because he's hot.
Literally and figuratively. Give this time to Davison again, and Davison gets to about the 20-yard line. That's a gain of maybe a yard. I'm not sure he got a yard.
What Galen Hall would like to have right now is that 17-play drive he had earlier.
Remember, Derek Clark, the starting fullback, is out of the lineup. It is put the load on Jerron Davidson.
Look at big Steve Harden coming around here. Look for somebody to hit.
They go with a slot right this time. As now a little bit of fog starts to set into the Rhein Stadion here. Straight back to pass goes Kelly. Kelly running out of time, has to roll away from pressure, steps up, throws wide open, caught by Boyd at the 31-yard line, and that'll be a first down.
Hey, nice play by Kelly.
Nice play by Boyd too to come back to his quarterback.
But this is actually a dangerous throw, but this is what we call the Elway move. The spin, notice that? That's why they always tell the defensive lineman, go to his upfield shoulder, especially when you're going to get somebody like Elway, and then throw the ball across the field. I'm sure that's not what you want to do, but right here, see the spin? How many times have you seen Elway do that? That's why they say go to the upfield shoulder.
I've seen Elway do that and then throw the ball across the field.
But when you have his arm.
I was just going to say, I don't think too many quarterbacks can do that. Pump fake, and a pass is complete to Davison, and Davison is run out of bounds close to another first down. Chris Grooms runs him out. Here are the third quarter numbers, and the Dragons now start to have the edge. Remember, 82 yards in that first few minutes of the first quarter for the Rhein Fire. Since that time, they've settled down. And the interesting number is that the Dragons are rushing for almost as many yards as the Rhein Fire. Each team with 14 first downs. Very close game in almost every category, including the scoreboard. 1-point lead for the Rhein Fire.
Yeah, this game is going to come down to 2-minute situations.
Second down and 3, and they give it to Davison, and Davison will be close to the first down. I think he's going to get it at about the 43-yard line.
Tackled by Demetrius Edwards. Here you go, gets up the field. Good job of getting those 3 extra yards.
By the name of Wlaf Hampel, number 71. He's playing a left tackle spot. If the name's not familiar to you, it's probably because he's played most of his football here in Europe. He is one of the national players.
But the interesting thing about him is he's a national player that actually starts every play, and because of that, their other national players don't get as many plays.
And in fact, he's going to go to the NFL this year. He's going, I believe he said, to Denver, did he not?
Yeah, he was with Denver for a couple years, and then he was at another place I don't remember. But one of the things about Wlaf is he used to play team handball, and because of that, he as a tackle can move his feet, and I think that's helped him. And one of his idols, obviously, is Anthony Munoz, the great tackle from the Cincinnati Bengals.
That's his hero, of course, and Kirk Scrafford, who plays for the San Francisco 49ers. Hempel actually lives in Miami, Florida right now. Pretty big boy, listed at 310, but he said right now I'm about 330.
And what's his favorite thing to do? Just hit.
Loves to hit.
That's what you want in a lineman.
And he does say, however, he doesn't really expect a lot.
Number 93 defense. 5-yard penalty.
Costly penalty against the Dragons. That will be close to another first down. The only reason that Hampel is not drawing more attention is the fact that he's 28 years old. And it's offensive line.
But we had talked about, you know, having the kids in Germany play football because they grew up playing soccer. We're over in the States. We grew up playing football. And he felt that if, you know, we could get some of the name players like Emmitt Smith and Deion Sanders to come over and maybe give a couple of tryouts or exhibitions for the kids, that they can maybe get more involved with the sport at an earlier age.
First down for the Rhein Fire. Short drop and a pass in and out in the hands of Davison. Davison wasn't quite looking for the ball to be unloaded quite that soon.
Hit by Chris Grooms.
Yeah, when Hampel told us that he played team handball, you and I kind of looked at each other. That's a very popular game here in Europe and an Olympic sport, of course, and he is huge for that game. I mean, you need a roadmap to get around this guy. I can't imagine him on a team handball court.
I think he's huge for any game.
Second down and 10 for the Rhein Fire. Ball just short of the 45-yard line. Split backs once more behind Kelly, and Kelly straight back slips. Now he steps up, throws long, and it is caught. Caught by Kevin Knox down at the 10-yard line, and a huge first down.
This is something that Galen Hall said yesterday, that they were looking for their receivers to step up and make big plays. They felt that they didn't have anyone that had done it in the past. And here you get a big play by Kenny Knox. Last week, or a couple weeks earlier, he probably dropped this ball. They don't connect. This is one of the things that Galen Hall said, that all they needed was a couple of big plays to get him over the hump.
And again, continuing to work on Michael Wright, who's arguably the best cornerback. Kelly in trouble.
I think it was a blown play.
No place to go, and he's wrapped up back at the 17-yard line. Loss of about 3, maybe 4. Take another look here at exactly what happened on that last play. And Kevin Knox just made a nice catch, got his body between the ball and Michael Wright, and just made the perfect play.
Yeah, these guys have been battling all day, and you know, give Knox credit.
Second down, about 13 now. They come with a slot left. Dragons show blitz, and they come with a blitz. And Kelly has to run away from trouble and can't do it. Knocked down back at the 32-yard line. Darren Rhein made the play, but he had a lot of help from his friends.
Once again, Galen Hall, he knew that the blitz was coming. Andy Kelly here, he saw the blitz. He should have just got rid of the ball. That's a young quarterback mistake, especially at this point in the game. They've given up 3 big sacks in this area. The key right now is to get into field goal range if you can.
I was just going to say, and I'm not sure this is field goal range for this team. 47 yards on this field, and with the kickers that they have available to them, that's asking an awful lot. Remember, another rule, you kick more than a 50-yard field goal in this league, and it's 4 points. Stepping up, throwing a little swing pass out of the backfield. Davison is going to turn this into something, and he gets it down to about the 23-yard line. And now you're looking at a 40-yard field goal. Still not exactly a gimme, but at least it will give the kicker, Leo Araguz, a little bit more of a chance.
No, this is what you pay the kicker for. Under these conditions, he's supposed to make this kick. It was a good play to get the ball out there, gets a couple yards, get him in position to make this play.
It's going to be a 38-yarder from where they spot the ball for Araguz. Special teams, remember, for both teams have been quite an experience today. Got a good snap and a good place, and the ball is good. A field goal from 38 yards out for Araguz gives his team a 5-point lead. And that means, of course, that Barcelona is going to have to score a touchdown, and a field goal is not going to be enough. 9:23 remaining, making a 4-point lead. We're coming back.
Looking for something?
Yeah, that dime from Sprint's long-distance plan.
Having trouble finding it, huh?
Yeah.
Well, that's because depending on when you call, the Sprint cents rate isn't always a dime. It could be a quarter or 65 cents on calls to Canada.
Oh.
Try AT&T True Reach Savings. On average, most people can save more than with Sprint cents when they spend $25 a month on calls in the U.S. Plus, you'll always save more on calls to Canada.
Wow, I found what I'm looking for.
That's your true choice, AT&T.
Taking care of business. Office Depot is bigger and better than ever, with more brand name office supplies than ever before, with more superstores nationwide, more top-brand business machines and computers, more software titles and computer accessories, more office supplies and furniture at guaranteed low prices nobody can beat.
Taking care of business.
Office Depot, taking care of business for companies of every size, everywhere, every day.
Few things could have prepared me for the horror that awaited me that day.
Oh, how inhumane.
It must be 110 degrees in there. We gotta do something.
You, call 911. You, get a locksmith.
Hang in there. The heat and light could easily trigger a degradation of flavor components. They'll all get skunked.
Budweiser, brewery fresh taste, strictly enforced.
After some quick thinking, disaster was averted.
7-Up attitude.
It's a given. It's the way it makes you feel. It's the lift that you get. It's a rhythm in your step, 'cause it's cool and it's wonderful and it's lemon.
one place to carbonate your brain.
Hi, I'm Peter Graves. Your mission is to watch FX. That's TV with you in mind.
Scored in the first play of the second quarter. Here's a look at Derek Clark. He will finish this game in civvies. As his team, however, has taken a 4-point lead, 16-12 on a 38-yard field goal by Araguz. 11 plays, 65 yards. And Araguz now will kick it off to Shedd and Thompson, who stand at about the 15-yard line. They don't expect much from Araguz, and they don't get much. Ball's going to go out of bounds at about the 22-yard line. So it'll be good field position for the Barcelona Dragons.
The penalty is 30 yards from the spot of the kick. The ball will be placed at the 40-yard line, first down.
They'll start at the 40-yard line. They trail by 4.
I really would like to see
Jack McNell, the coach, talking to his quarterback, Kelly Holcomb. Rhein Fire's managed to get a pretty good push on Kelly Holcomb, and this is going to be a very important series. They start at the 40-yard line. There's the numbers on Kelly Holcomb. He's been under siege much of the night, and he's thrown a couple of balls I'm quite sure Kelly wishes he had back. Shedd to the near side, Marshall to the far side. Thompson, the lone setback, is the only setback that Jack McNell has available to him.
Timeout, Barcelona.
And Barcelona's called a timeout. That's their first, and that's one of those timeouts that you might look at a little bit later and say, boy, it sure is a shame we had to call that. 9:19 left, and the Rhein Fire leads by 4.
They are America's dreamers, builders, leaders. They are the future of America's companies and communities. They are students, teachers, machinists, programmers.
But we're more.
We're more.
1 weekend a month, 2 weeks a year.
We're the men and women of the U.S. Army Reserve.
We're proud of what we do. And who we are.
You can join us in the Army Reserve.
As a full-time citizen serving part-time, you can train in one of almost 200 career fields, learn high-tech skills, and earn up to $25,100 toward a college degree while you're still in college. Serve part-time. Feel a pride that's full-time. Can you see yourself? This could be you. Call this number for more information. You'll receive a free brochure in the mail. There's no obligation.
No matter where you are in your life,
the Reserve can help you do better in life.
Call now.
Be all that you can be in the Army Reserve. How about it?
Hi, this is Malcolm Shower from the Amsterdam Avenue.
I'm Andre Hewitt from Scottish Claymores.
I'm Steve Brooks from the Frankfurt Galaxy.
And you're watching FX.
What questions keep men up nights? How good can you possibly feel? Are you looking for peak performance? Men's Health magazine has the answers. Call now and get your first issue free. You'll discover uncommon knowledge like 50 ways to flatten your stomach without sit-ups, how to cut your cholesterol 30 points in only 30 days, 5 intimate secrets to better relationships. With this special TV offer, you'll also get these 3 vital books free. Discover the sex secrets women wish men knew. Learn how to get rid of that gut quickly and easily. Plus, you'll get 101 Men's Health secrets every man should know. Call now for your free trial issue of Men's Health. You'll get the full year of Men's Health for $19.97 and these 3 books free. Where are the answers to your questions? In Men's Health.
Call 1-800-319-2999 now for a free trial issue of Men's Health magazine. Subscribe now at our lowest price and get all 3 books free. Have your credit card ready.
Toy Cook back in Dusseldorf, Germany. The Rhein Fire leading the Barcelona Dragons by 4. This is a game that the Dragons desperately need. Fire just looking for a little respect. Single setback. Shedd to the near side. Straight back Holcomb throws underneath this time. It is caught by Demetrius Davis, who gets across the 45-yard line. A gain of about 5, maybe 6 yards. Myron Glass and Anthony Fielding's on the stop.
Nice tackle. You know, early during the break, Jack McNell told Kelly Holcomb, Nice and smart plays. Make smart plays. And that was a smart throw. Nice, easy throw for him to make, get positive yardage.
And take care of the football. That was the other thing that he told him. Kelly Holcomb executed that very well. Straight back, Holcomb again on 2nd and 4. Looking downfield, throwing deep for Shedd. Can't quite hang on. Jamal Ellis, fine coverage. Almost the perfect pass from Kelly Holcomb.
This is one of the things that Galen Hall of the Rhein Fire wish he had somebody like Kenny Shedd. He comes off, not that difficult of a move, but he gets over the top of Mike Salmon, who I'm sure the Houston Oilers, that's not what they want to see in their free safety. He has to get back there, but good play by Jamal Ellis. I'm sure after the game he'll go up and give him a hug and a kiss.
3rd down and 4 now as they try to stretch it and go deep. Throwing underneath is Holcomb, and that's another one of those passes that Holcomb wishes he had back. Intended for Bryce Burnett. It'll be 4th down.
You know, you would think, and it's still early in the game, you know, with it being, that's a crucial situation to me. 3rd and 4. Didn't it seem like they went back and was kind of like nonchalantly just threw the ball out there? There's no sense of urgency, and I think there should be.
So they'll have to punt it away. On to do the punting, Shane Edge kicks this one away from Boyd, and it'll go out of bounds. Going to go out of bounds somewhere around the 13-yard line. Not a bad kick for Shane Edge. And now it'll be up to the Barcelona defense to take care of business and get it back so they can do some offensive work. We'll be back.
The sun's up at Bay Hill, and what a lovely day for a drive. But don't forget to keep your head down, because Bay Hill is Arnold Palmer's place, and the rough edges are there by design. So who helps the business end of this legendary club run smoothly? Office Depot.
Taking care of business.
Office Depot guarantees low prices and 100% satisfaction. Because when you're responsible for the big picture, even small details are important.
Taking care of business.
7 Up attitudes.
It's a given. It's the way it makes you feel. It's the lift that you get. It's a rhythm in your step. Cause it's cool and it's wonderful and it's lemon and lime. 7 Up. It's an up thing. 7 Up. Does it every time. It's clear and it's wonderful and it's totally fine. 7 Up. Hey, it's an up thing.
Check out the hottest alternative music online.
So why did you leave AT&T?
I fell for the gimmicks.
And
I'm disappointed.
I miss AT&T. AT&T misses you too. So we're making it easy to come back.
Anything that makes my life easier, I'm for it.
How does up to 100 free AT&T minutes sound?
I like free minutes.
We'll send you AT&T long-distance certificates good for up to 100 free minutes, just for switching back to AT&T.
100 free minutes, I'm there.
There's more. Only AT&T customers can get AT&T True Reach savings. Spend $25 a month and you save 25% to anyone, anytime, anywhere in the U.S. You're covered on every type of call on your AT&T phone bill.
What more could you ask for?
How about this? AT&T puts your savings in black and white.
What have I got to do to come back to you guys?
All you have to do is call 1-800-GET-TRUE, and you'll get up to 100 free AT&T minutes. So, what do you think?
I think we'll switch.
Good decision.
Thank you.
You know what to do.
That's your true choice, AT&T.
4-point ball game. Home team leading it. The Rhein Fire 16, the Barcelona Dragons 12. People there having a great time. Like we said, it's not a big crowd, but I want to tell you, it's a loud crowd. And the 15,000 or so are here thoroughly enjoying themselves. Those are the Pyromaniacs. That's the cheerleading group. Cleverly named, I think. Huh? Rhein Fire, Pyromaniacs. Meantime, Kelly trying to get a little Pyromaniacs of his own going, and he does so as he hands off this time to Richardson, and Richardson turns it into a big gain. Biggest offensive gain of the day on the ground. Terry Richardson outside. Firepower. This is the WLAF version of the NFL experience.
You know, we were coming in earlier. It was raining. These guys were out here having beer, eating pretzels, having a good time.
We haven't had any of that, have we?
No.
Other than watching the game. And it has been a pretty good ball game. Kelly comes to the line of scrimmage. Kelly doing a pretty good job today. 17 to 24, 156 yards. Dragons pointing that they got this ball. I don't believe they did, as Davison, I think, managed to get it back.
Well, I know if I'm the Barcelona Dragons, I'd better step it up right now because they don't have much time. And they're going to allow the Rhein to run down the field like they're doing now. They'll never see the ball again. And I think these fans will get even louder.
Second down, about 4. Kelly, I don't think will put it in the air unless he absolutely has to, and now he may absolutely have to, as they give us to Davison. Davison might have lost a couple. Kevin O'Brien makes the stop for the Dragons, and it's going to be 3rd down.
Yeah, I don't think that was a good play by, the Rhein Fire. They've had a little success running the ball right up the gut. Took some lost yardage on that play, and now they're in a position where I wouldn't want to be. But let's look at how Andy Kelly goes back and handles this situation.
3rd down and 6. Very big defensive play here for the Dragons. And they jump offside. And now the fingers will point. And we'll see if the Dragons were drawn or not. 2 of them jumped, and that would always indicate that perhaps they were drawn.
Well, if Jerome Davison was really thinking, he would have immediately went to the sidelines, which would have been a back in motion.
Ball start, number 33, offense, 5-yard penalty.
No, yeah, but he didn't motion. You're the guy trying to say it was motion. See, look, Jerome takes off, which is fine, but if he can just take his angle and go laterally, it looks like motion. Then you have a better chance of convincing the refs.
As it is, 3rd down and 11, and now Kelly most likely is going to have to put it up.
I think they're going to go to their hook play.
Chamberlain has been a big factor in this ball game. He's got 5 catches, 38 yards. They come with a slot left. Davison the lone setback. Kelly straight back. Blitz comes. In trouble is Kelly. Knocked down, buys time. Kelly throws downfield. Comeback or incomplete. Boyd came back to the ball like he's supposed to do. Kelly got the ball there. Boyd just didn't hang on.
Pressure was put on by Josh Heinrich. Here was a chance earlier we saw Kelly Holcomb spin out of this. This would have been a good chance. I think that's holding right there. If he could have spin and went the other way, he would have probably had a chance of getting open. Nice throw on the sidelines. He just couldn't hang on.
Threw the ball in the right place. If anybody was going to catch it, it was going to be his guy. But as it is, punting situation, and we've already talked about what special teams have been all about. Had one go over his head, turned into a safety. This time the kick does get away, and it's going to be Marshall at the 26-yard line. He is stuck like a pig.
That's how you play special teams right there.
That is a big-time tackle by number 99, Jason Carthen.
And that's what you need with 5 minutes to go. Big punt. Kenny Shedd is an excellent punt returner. But if you look right here, there was really nowhere for him to go because they did a good job of punt return. Notice how everyone's in their lanes. There's no place for Kenny Shedd to run, and that's why he got plastered. See all the jerseys? Good job. He has nowhere to go because that's good coverage.
Carthen didn't hesitate for a moment.
That's what those guys live for.
First out at the 26-yard line. Kelly Holcomb straight back to pass with time. Steps up, had a man wide open and missed him. Davis once again was wide open. And Holcomb not exactly having a day to remember. Here are the standings in the World League right now. Scottish Claymores, remember, they have already won the first half. That means they will be the home team for the World Bowl. So who are they going to play? Well, the Frankfurt Galaxy, they'll be playing tomorrow. They're 4 up and 2 down. The Admirals, of course, and the Dragons, 3 and 3. They'll both, one is playing right now, of course, the Dragons, and they need to come from behind. And the World Bowl takes place on the 23rd of June. We'll have it for you on Fox. Second down and 10. Holcomb out of the backfield this time. And Wilburn back in the ball game.
2 missed tackles. Should have been a 3-yard gain.
turned into about a 7-yard gain. Wilburn, we didn't think was going to be able to come back into the ballgame. Remember, he left injured in the first half and has come back and looked pretty quick right there.
That was a good job of Kelly Holcomb. Had nothing downfield. He just drops it off to his back. His back does all the work. Good hustle by Percy Snow on the tackle.
Terry Wilburn, another guy who was in the camp with the San Francisco 49ers for a short time. There's the numbers on Holcomb. There's a couple, however, he would love to have back. Holcomb throws this time, and that's in and out of the hands of the intended receiver, who was Bryce Burnett. That was a catchable ball.
Yeah, no. There's nothing that needs to be said right here. This ball is right where it's supposed to be. He has to make this catch. Kelly Holcomb struggling a little bit right now, and he needs his teammates to help pick him up. Big third down and didn't convert. Now they're putting it on their defense. This game has been perpetuated by mistakes.
Dragons running out of time. 4:11 remaining. Edge hits this one, hit it pretty good. Turned it over for Boyd at the 25-yard line. Boyd starts back to 30, the 35, tries to get outside and is stopped as he got to the 40-yard line. And good field position for the Rhein Fire. Here's a reminder what's coming up here on FX and all over the world on the 1st of June at 6:30 Central Time. Amsterdam Admirals in the, that is Central Europe time. Amsterdam Admirals and the Scottish Claymores. 1st of June also, Saturday night, 7 o'clock, the Frankfurt Galaxy and the Rhein Fire. You'll be there for that one, Toy. 2nd of June, next Sunday, it'll be the Barcelona Dragons and the London Monarchs.
Could you tell me those hotline numbers?
I was going to read them. Couldn't quite get to them quick enough. First down at the 40-yard line, and the give is to Davison, and Davison got a yard.
Nice fill by Tommy Thigpen.
Galen Hall doesn't look like a confident man right now, but he's hopeful.
The funny thing were these two coaches early in the, before the start of the game were in the hallway just chatting up like, you know, they were best friends, been friends for life.
I think they are, actually. They spent some time, did Galen Hall in Barcelona with his team, because the weather wasn't very good here in Dusseldorf, so they had a game down there. They went and stayed 10 days, played the game and practiced as well. The guys all hung out together. There's a fumble, loose ball, bad exchange, and the Dragons say, we got it. I'm not sure they do.
That's not going to make Galen Hall too happy right now.
Hey, but recovered by the Rhein Fire, but it's going to bring about a 3rd down and 11. Take another look. Kelly never got this one. I think Kelly and the center had a little problem in the snap count.
That was weird. I wonder what the center was doing.
I don't think Kelly expected the ball. Now what do? Do you put it up here to it?
I think you have to.
Showing blitz. They come with a blitz. Kelly throws. Got the hot receiver. Byron Chamberlain once again.
Nice. There you go. They show blitz. The first time he didn't get it, took a sack down in the red zone. This time he reads it in a crucial situation and gets the ball to Chamberlain.
I'm not sure if it's enough for the first down, though. We'll see. And if it's not, I would think they'd have to punt the ball.
Smart play by the Barcelona Dragons, too. The reason they blitz in this situation is, notice how he has to get rid of the ball. What they're hoping is Barcelona is to make the tackle right there, make him punt the ball. So if they didn't get the first down, they accomplished what they wanted.
Very close. This will all depend on the spot.
See, a lot of people would say, why are they blitzing now? But it's 3rd and 10. They don't want him to get back and look for a receiver. They want him to get rid of the ball.
Well short of the first down. They'll have to punt it, I would think. Now, Kelly's looking at Galen Hall saying, let's go. Here's the situation you spoke with Galen Hall about.
This is the situation that I talked about. Galen, coach, you're at the 50-yard line. It's 4th down. But I said early in the game, what do you do? Well, here he has to punt the ball. Well, no question.
They've had 3 punts blocked during the course of the year. So now let's see if Barcelona plays block or plays run back. Right now, Barcelona looking a little bit confused here.
Well, for some reason, Galen did decide to go for it. You know, he could always say, you know, well, Barry Switzer did it.
Yeah, that's true. And you saw what happened?
That's right.
Now they need another body out there. Now they got 11. All kinds kinds of confusion on the Rhein Fire, but the clock is not a factor. 13, 12, 11 seconds before they have to get the play off. Marshall would be the deep man for Barcelona. And they snap it right as the clock hits 0. Good high kick. Marshall, fair catch. Gets out of the way and lands at the 5-yard line, goes out of bounds. A perfect punt that time from Leo Araguz. Couldn't do any better than that.
I'll tell you right now, Leo Araguz has done a good job of punting and kicking field goals. The ball bounced, they get a good hop.
I don't know, you've returned a few punts. Do you not make that fair catch?
I think at that point, you got to let it go. The field is wet. You're expecting maybe the ball to hit and skid, and I'm sure he was thinking about muffing.
So it's a long way away, and they need 6. Field goal is no good unless it's a 50-yard plus field goal. And in these conditions, I think that falls into the category of wishful thinking.
Yeah, only if you have Morton Anderson.
They come with a double slot on first down. Holcomb out of his own end zone. Throws deep, caught by Shed at the 33-yard line. Perfect ball thrown by Holcomb, and Shed went right up and got it. And that'll bring us to the 2-minute warning. Donald Douglas defending, but that ball was perfectly thrown and perfectly caught. 1:58 left. We'll be back.
Leslie Nielsen. Spy Hard.
Houston, we have a problem.
Rated PG-13. Now playing at a theater near you.
Looking for something?
Yeah, that dime from Sprint's long-distance plan.
Having trouble finding it, huh?
Yeah.
Well, that's because depending on when you call, the Sprint Cents rate isn't always a dime. It could be a quarter or 65 cents on calls to Canada.
Oh.
Try AT&T True Reach Savings. On average, most people can save more than with Sprint Cents when they spend $25 a month on calls in the U.S. Plus, you'll always save more on calls to Canada.
Wow, I found what I'm looking for.
That's your true choice, AT&T.
Before he was dirty, he was already harried.
Better do more than just point a gun at me, mister.
Clint Eastwood and Rawhide. Next, only on FX.
It set the standard in do-it-yourself books. But now, we've made the best even better. Introducing the all-new Home Repair and Improvement series from Time Life Books. With new color illustrations, step-by-step instructions, and a new spiral binding so books lay flat. It's never been easier to save money and create the home you've always wanted. You'll learn how to build a deck your family will enjoy for years. The tricks of the trade to install a new patio. Call now to examine decks, porches, and patios, free for 15 days. Keep it for the special low TV price of just $1.99. Use your credit card and get this Stanley tape measure absolutely free. Other volumes will follow. Keep only those you want. The new Home Repair and Improvement series from Time Life Books. We've made the best even better.
Call 1-800-318-1919 now to get decks, porches, and patios for just $1.99. That's 1-800-318-1919.
Barry Tompkins, Toy Cook, Galen Hall trying to cling to a 4-point lead. Right big pass a moment ago from Kelly Holcomb to Kenny Shedd has given the Dragons the ball at the 34-yard line with 1:58 left. 4-point lead for the Rhein Fire. Holcomb in trouble. Throws as he's on his way down. The ball is caught by Wilburn, and Wilburn gets all the way to the midfield stripe before he's dragged down. And there's, again, an example of a strong quarterback. Not only strong arm, strong physically.
A pressure from Dunstan Anderson. Hangs onto the ball, gets rid of it. Percy Snow got to make that tackle. He gets outside.
Percy Snow has to make that tackle. Alfonso Browning has to make that block. I think he thought the play was dead.
Yeah, no, I think they all thought it was dead.
Straight back goes Holcomb again. Holcomb has to roll away. Throws underneath for Wilburn again. Midfield, 45, to the 41-yard line, and that's going to be another first down. Ricky Andrews on the stop. So the inside is open now for Holcomb.
Well, this is what kills my father-in-law. He'd probably say, why are they playing in the prevent defense where they're not? The quarterback is just taking what they're giving them. They don't want to give up a big play. They know they're not going to kick a 50-yard field goal. So
straight back Holcomb once again with time this time. Looking deep, throws for Shedd, and he underthrew the ball, and it's an incomplete pass, very close to another interception. Holcomb had Shedd open, got pressure up front from James Wilson, but probably should have gotten the ball to him.
That was a good play by Jamal Ellis because he was beat. I want to see what kind of defense they're in. Oh, okay. I think they were playing what they call their quarter, which is where all the 4 DBs play a quarter of the field. Good job of finding the ball. A lot of DBs would have committed pass interference right there. Good play by Jamal Ellis.
Well, that play had touchdown all over it if Holcomb just could have gotten the ball to Shedd. Shedd was open. Holcomb straight back again. Waits for the clear out. Throws underneath. Ball is caught this time by Demetrius Davis, and that's going to be another first down inside the 30 at the 29-yard line. And again, Ricky Andrews on the tackle. Clock now inside a minute, 57, 56, 55 seconds. Dragons still have 2 timeouts remaining.
The Rhein Fire fighting for their lives right now.
They go with a slot right this time with Marshall in the slot. Holcomb straight back, throws for Marshall, and Marshall slipped the first tackle, but is cracked out as he got the 26-yard line.
Hey, good job of trying to get out of bounds. He couldn't.
Timeout, Barcelona.
And now they'll call a timeout. Jamal Cox and Jamal Ellis made the stop.
42nd timeout.
Jack McDowell liking what he's seeing.
They can't hold him out of there long enough for the Jets, Coach.
I know. He says they're not holding him out long enough for Jets.
I can't even get a look.
Tell them to get the damn, they start working on the damn thing. Go normal.
If we could run a comeback on this guy over here.
He thinks he can run a comeback over here, but that's just as long as Jets.
That's true. That's just as long.
That's the problem. Left up.
Listening in to Coach Jack McNell and his quarterback, Kelly Holcomb.
60 speedy London. Hey, remember now, we got 1 timeout left. Doesn't make any difference because field goal's not going to do it. What?
Well, Jack McNell staying very calm, and his quarterback seems pretty calm also. Basically what he's saying is he just doesn't have time to do anything.
Yeah, and you know, he mentioned he wanted to throw a comeback. I didn't think that's the play. If I was them, I would go to crossing routes because even if you catch the ball, you have a chance to get out of bounds and you can get 5 yards because if you get sacked there, it's gonna make it really tough. They need to go something quick.
Holcomb straight back to cover the blitz right up the middle. Holcomb has to unload, does so. Ball is caught, but staying in bounds that time. That's not going to be a fumble. Davis stayed in bounds, and the clock will keep moving. 24, 23, 22. It's going to be second down. Holcomb's going to have to hurry here and probably just spike the ball, I would think. Now he's going to run a play. 13, 12, 11 seconds left. Much too much time. Holcomb is going to have to throw it to the end zone, and had Wilburn open, and I think Holcomb was thinking, I'm going to throw it away. He had Wilburn open, and had he thought about hitting the man instead of throwing it away, they'd have been down inside the 5-yard line probably.
Yeah, you know, he held the ball obviously way too long. I think the last 2 plays, they made mistakes. 2nd and 10, go to quick outs or quick crossers. Now they're left with a 4 and 5, 4 and 6. He should at least thrown the ball into the end zone.
Well, I would have to think he has no choice now. It's 4th down, and even though you need a first down, you only got 5 seconds left.
Timeout.
I think you just have to go end zone.
It's the team's 3rd and final timeout.
And hope
40 seconds.
Somebody can jump up and get one.
Can we put Kenny Shedd as a receiver? Act like he's going to the post and send him to the corner. Post corner.
They're not going to let. They're going to drop 4 guys. They're going to just drop 4 guys off.
Okay.
But I think you can get a seam ball in there, okay? You know, Beaver left.
Okay. I agree with Jack McNow.
Jack's been around the track.
You know, as soon as Holcomb.
Okay, Beaver left.
Put him in the slot. Put Sami on the
jet seat. Okay? Well, hey, Kelly, it's got to go in the end zone. The ball's got to go in the end zone.
Yeah, as soon as Kelly said, let's go to the corner out, I knew that was not the play because those guys are going to be on the end zone line. The only chance they're going to have to get the ball in is to hit a quick seam.
There's the story. 5 seconds remaining in the ball game, and it's a game that the Barcelona Dragons absolutely need. Galen Hall just hoping his team can hang on for one more play, so this is it. Holcomb rolls away from pressure, just looks to the end zone, throws, and it's knocked down in the end zone, incomplete, and with that, the ball game is over. Mike Salmon was the guy who came up to knock it down, but we're going to get an offensive holding penalty. The penalty will be declined, and the game is over.
Hey, nice play by Mike Salmon, but very lucky. I think that ball bounced up in the air. It's 4th down. He should have just knocked it down. I think he was trying to catch it. But the football gods were with the Rhein today.
Well, they did what they had to do. They talked about getting out of the blocks quickly. Kenny Shedd in the end zone might have been shaken up on that last play, and he's being tended to now. There really wasn't a receiver anywhere near there who had a prayer at the ball from what I can see, Toy.
Yeah, no, what they're hoping right here is they either get a pass interference or a tip ball or just maybe look out. There was holding right there, so no matter what happened. Nice break, see? Nice break by Mike Salmon. He kind of got a little what we call alligator arms. He thought he was going to get hit, but it didn't matter. They won the game. A good game. Too many mistakes.
A lot of mistakes really on both sides, but for Galen Hall, he got his team headed in the right direction. We talked to a lot of players on the Rhein Fire yesterday, and there was this underlying thing, and you and I talked about it last night. Yeah, that one more loss, and this team just kind of could have come apart. A lot of guys would have just said, the heck with this, let's go on home. Well, now they get a win. They're 2-5. Mathematically, there's still a chance. Very good win for them.
Big, big win. And a lot of weight just fell off those big shoulders. Tommy Stowers, another one of my former teammates from the Saints, give him hugs. But you're right. This was a game that they needed. The Rhein. You know, they felt like they've been in a lot of close games, and they had one, and they're mathematically still in it. So,
well, the fact is they're only a game behind Jack Bicknell's team now, as Bicknell and the Dragons fall to 3-4. The Fire jumps up to tie, at least for the moment, or be within a half a game of the London Monarchs. The Monarchs, remember, will play on Monday against the Amsterdam Admirals. Now let's talk about wouldas and couldas and shouldas. If the Monarchs win the game, then they're 3-4. The Admirals are 3-4. The Dragons are 3-4. And the Rhein Fire is just a game behind them. So who's to say what could happen? Galen Hall right now is down on the sideline. Galen, this has got to be a very, very encouraging win for you today.
Well, it really was. We played good all year, and the score hasn't come our way, but tonight it did. We might have hung on a little bit, but still, we got it done, and our team deserved it. Our team deserved it. Our fans deserve it, because they've been beyond.
You talked about the fact when you and Toy and I talked last night that you had to get out of the blocks quickly, that the first half of this ball game was going to be very, very important, and you did just that.
Well, we did that. We didn't get it in the third time down. And then the second half penalty, we stopped them, had a penalty. Then they went on to score. That's a big, big turning point.
Coach, earlier we talked about, you know, you're having your receivers make a big play. You got one from Kenny Knox.
Yeah, we sure did.
You actually got two.
We got those two in that driver. And Kevin has good hands, and he played pretty well tonight.
All right, thanks very much, Galen. A great win for you. You're going to have a good week now, I know that. So Galen Hall's team wins it 16-12. And this is the first time in 4 games that they've been able to beat the Barcelona Dragons, and they did it in no uncertain terms. They really drove the bus for the better part of the game. Bunch of very happy guys right now. It's a wrap for us. Well, for Toy Cook, I'm Barry Tompkins saying so long from the Rheinstadion in Dusseldorf, Germany, where once again the final score of the Rhein Fire 16, Barcelona Dragons 12. Don't forget to watch more FX coverage of the WLAF tomorrow at 10 o'clock Eastern, 11 Central. The Frankfurt Galaxy travels to Scotland to take on the World Bowl-bound Claymores. Then on Monday, it's Amsterdam and London. That's a wrap for